Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm so glad to have you here. Green and Bill and Ike Diki and Eduardo and Pink Shades and Matsugen. How are we? Nice to have you here. I will say, in response to the back and forth between Green and Bill, Green, you left a chat message like legit like 2 seconds after I scheduled the stream. Like it had just gone up. You somehow caught it like the second I like scheduled it. So Bill's right. Like you were there. Happy National Cheeseburger Day. Carl's Jr. has them half price burgers, so they're actually affordable. Do you think they made them good for National Cheeseburger Day? Do you think they made them like taste good or what? Because like, you know, where I live, there's a street, there's a Carl's Jr. and there's another burger place, and the other burger place is a local place, and it costs about the same as Carl's Jr., but they actually make good burgers. So I don't know why anyone would actually go to Carl's Jr. Maybe when it's half price day, that's a different story. But generally speaking, I don't know why anyone would go to Carl's Jr. because there's a good burger place right next to it that costs the same amount of money. I feel bad for Carl's Jr. after that place set up shop because like I don't know why anyone would eat there anymore. Well, no one's here. I can take some weight out of my chest. I save scum on XCOM 2. I load previous saves when my characters die. I said it. You should be ashamed of yourself. I don't know anything about XCOM 2, so I have no stake in. I have no dog in this fight. But you should be ashamed of yourself. Disgusting. They put dates in the burger. Forgot to like the stream. Everybody better like the stream right now. Right now. There's lots of things on Arkansas. Like what? Inbreeding. I like Carl's Jr.'s TBH. The onion rings are non-dairy. Bill just likes anywhere that don't have the milk. Carl's taste is okay in the moment, but the burps from them last for the rest of the day. That's such a specific anecdote. I had Carl's Jr. once, and I was like, this is dry, bland, and just not good. So I have never eaten there ever again. I was like, that one bad experience was enough for me to be like, there's better burger places for the same amount of money. What's up, Skippy? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for liking it on your way in. I appreciate that. Lottie Da, Max Sports local businesses, so fancy. And so should you. And so should you. I had it once and they pulled out of my city. Not sure if it's related. They saw you walking in and they were like, we got to get out of here. What's up, Jess? How you doing? What's up? Hey, Gary. Welcome to the stream. Nice to have you here. Fast food burgers are just dumb expensive now anyway. For a couple bucks more, I can go to Killer Burger at least. So, yes, you're absolutely right. Fast food is not cheap anymore. There's a lady who has a food stand outside where I work, and she makes burritos and tacos and pupusas, and you can get a taco from there that is like twice the size of a Taco Bell taco for the same price as getting like 2 burritos from Taco Bell, and it tastes way fucking better. So why would I ever go to Taco Bell when I can just get an actual burrito made by someone who gives a shit about the food they're making? Luna's here. Everyone say hi to Luna. But it's the same thing. Like McDonald's is barely cheaper than just going to get an actual burger now. It's not like a lot cheaper. It's not like I'm really broke today. I need to get and I want a burger cheaper. It's just like marginally cheaper. It's not properly cheaper. And again, Mac, you are cheating by having good places. Sounds like a scale issue once again. Fast food is still more affordable here in New York, which speaks more to the expensiveness of New York than anything else. It really does. It kind of do. By the way, I want to throw this out right at the beginning of the stream. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time, Starfield Part 3 comes out. Starfield Part 3 dropping tomorrow. It's pronounced Arkansas, you idiot. Nothing like a good old-fashioned TFS meme. And since Starfield is dropping tomorrow, I was making last minute adjustments to the thumbnail, and I didn't close Photoshop before the stream started. And so I'm you're gonna get it. Here you go. Here's a preview of the thumbnail. One of them. I mean, by preview I mean this is the thumbnail. One of them. This is another one. They look pretty good, right? I like these ones. These are good looking thumbnails. I also have this one, but it's literally the same as the second one, but just the text is different. Micro doing the Lord's work. Yeah, no, it looks good. It looks good. I was playing around with, I took the drop shadow off of this and added the, like, Starfield colored after shadows, whatever you want to call them, back here, but I didn't like how it looked. Also, I shifted this around, so it's a little fucked up, but I didn't like how it looked, so I removed them and put the drop shadow back on and then re-uploaded the thumbnails, which is, I've made tiny changes to the thumbnail and re-uploaded it like a dozen times. I changed the color of the background. See, I made a little more blue. So that what's his name? The emissary would be a little more separated from it. I had an adjustment on here to bring up the brightness a bit, but decided it wasn't necessary. Fucked with the colors on these and size of this. Added the, yeah, it takes a while to figure out what I want to do with thumbnails. Speaking of microwave meals, can we talk about how fucking goated Stouffer's French bread pizzas are? That's actually pretty base. I haven't heard about those in a while, but they're pretty base. Mack, are you still alive? You haven't posted a video in a week or so. Yeah, Starfield video tomorrow. Don't miss it. We're gonna get into some American Truck Sim here, and they just launched the Arkansas DLC, so we're gonna head to Arkansas and have a nice time. I live in Spain, and the only cheap one is Burger King. Also, still the best. Interesting, Danny. Burger King is terrible here, terrible and awful, and I would not recommend it to anybody. Mac, where are you on February 15th, 2000? It's my birthday. No comment. Are you saying today's your birthday or February 15th is your birthday? They added DLC to Kansas. Yeah, kind of a lazy naming convention for them to just call it Arkansas. Okay, so they did update the menu now. I thought it was last time I streamed the game. I thought they had updated the menu, but it was an upcoming menu update. So now they updated the menu. And I'm also thinking we might get into, I'm also thinking I want to start doing Euro Truck Sim streams too. Because I've missed out on a few Euro Truck Sim DLCs and I just bought them. And I feel like I need to make it like a thing where if American Truck Sim drops a new state, play American Truck Sim. If Euro Truck Sim drops a new country, we play Euro Truck Sim. Euro Truck Sim has gotten huge. Huge. They've pretty much got all of Europe at this point. There's like some northern areas that still aren't mapped, but otherwise they're pushing into Russia now. They're done. Like Europe's over. Okay, looks like I was in Flagstaff before, so let's take a look at the map. We're going to head over to here, which kind of awkwardly juts out from the rest right now. But we're gonna aim for Arkansas. But since I'm in Flagstaff, Arizona, we'll start here. Let's see what we got in the freight market here. Something that'll take us towards Arizona, hopefully. Albuquerque heads in the right direction, at least. It'd be a good start. This one's even better. This takes us all the way to Oklahoma. It'd be best if I could just get like one job that would just take me all the way to Arkansas, but I don't know if I'm going to find that. Oh, no, here we go. This is perfect. Machine parts to Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Y'all ready to head for Arkansas? That's a long-ass drive right there. That's how long is this drive? 20 hours. It's a long-ass drive. All right, let's head for Arkansas. Lived in Flagstaff for years. Well, while we're driving through, you can tell us how historically accurate it is. That's nice. Truck Sim delves into Middle Earth next. Dude, I would love to see them just get wacky with it. I would love to see them just get wacky with it and just start putting trucks in medieval settings, and you're like driving on like peasant roads next to all the wagons and the horses, but you're just still in a truck. You seen those intense setup for these truck simulators? Yes. If my Patreon ever blows up, I'm gonna invest all of my Patreon money into buying the chassis of a truck so I can simulate the experience properly. So how's everybody doing today? What have y'all been up to? Why don't you tell me about it? While we get a little trucking going. We're starting late at night. I'm assuming I'm slept up and gassed up. Yeah, we're slept in gas. And repaired and all that. Not that I probably need to repair this that badly. I never crashed my truck. But, you know. It's a good thing to just get your regular maintenance done here and there. What's up, Ultra? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for liking on the way in. Where's the rear monitor with chat on it? We demand answers as patrons. Where is it? Arkansas. Take job. I need to play more Euro Truck because I bought it a while ago. I need to play more Euro Truck too. I just like American Truck Sim better. And I don't really know why. I just kind of do. Maybe it's because I haven't spent as much time with Euro Truck. The trucks drive different in Europe. I swear to God, the trucks drive different in Europe. I don't know what the deal is. But y'all Europeans got weird trucks. I was thinking last stream was crazy with how in-depth it became. What are you referring to? Last stream I did was chained together. Or are you talking about how deep it got? Yeah, we had some deep conversations on the last stream. If y'all weren't there for that, Alicia and I got deep. Alicia was on her unmedicated ADHD brain and things got weird. Yeah, they drive on the left, Mac. It's easy. Actually, not a lot of places do. England drives on the left. Most places in Europe do not. That's an English thing. That's an English and Oz thing, but not a lot of places actually do that. Once you cross the channel in Euro Truck, it's all right side. When I mentioned how boring celebrity men's fashion was, we did get a little weird, didn't we? What can I say, you know? Bro, I spilled 45 pounds of honey on myself. Yikes. That's a one-time mistake, Charity. That's a one-time. You do that once and you never do it again. Oof. Sorry to hear that. The left is the correct side? Okay. We spotted the English and or Oz. I ain't no coward. I drive on both sides. So yeah, what's everyone got going on today? How y'all been? Don't forget to like the stream. Starfield video comes out tomorrow. Last part of the Starfield series. I had a thought, but I forgot what it was. I gotta charge my phone. Hang on. Let me just charge my phone while I drive. Mac, you excited for Goodbye Airy? Did they announce a Goodbye Airy movie or something? I hadn't heard about that. I know there's what is it called? The other one. Look Back. The Look Back movie's coming out. I'm excited about that. Let's get on the highway and head out to Arkansas. I'm thinking to Look Back. Okay. All right, that makes sense. You got me excited for a second there. I wish they were making a Goodbye Airy movie. But yes, I am excited about Look Back. I gotta check when it's gonna be in the theater and if there's any theaters near me that'll be showing it. Honey holds forever. Someone could just be a honey fiend. honey. So honey does last forever, but I don't really know what you're referring to. Got a good deal on 45 pounds of honey. Just gonna carry it home and scrape it all into a jar. You are morally wrong to be dealing with 45 pounds of honey in a non-commercial setting. Well, she was in a commercial setting. She works where I work, so. We deal in honey. In fact, we have 55-gallon drums of honey. 45 pounds isn't even that much. We're honey dealers. Imagine a truck simulator online. It exists. There's a convoy mode on Truck Sim. You can like talk to other players over the radio. If you're ever curious about it, Super Mega did a great video where they played it, and they just talked to a bunch of guys who were like anti-vax and and Republican, and it was funny. It was a funny video. It's not a mod, no, it's a mode. How much do the bees get paid? Honey is actually like an extremely ethical food for humans to source because bees make way more honey than they need. So you can extract honey from bees without damaging their ecosystem at all, because they don't need all of it. You can extract all of it and just give them a little and they'll be good. Because they overproduce honey. Yeah, and bees can just go away whenever they want to. That is technically true, although they mostly don't, but it is a thing that sometimes the bees will just be like, yeah, bye. So where I work, we deal in honey, we sell honey, and my coworker who is the honey purchaser has his own apiary, so I've learned a lot about beekeeping from him. And yeah, that is definitely a thing where sometimes bees are just decide to leave. And there's just like a percentage of your hives every year that are just gonna bounce. It's a small percentage. Most of the time bees don't like to move around, but what if we made the bees drug addled? I mean, they basically already are. They subsist off of sugar. The flavor of the honey depends on the flower, so meth honey would probably be wild. That's true. We have a bunch of different varieties of honey where I work. Meadow foam is my personal favorite. It's very sweet. It's got like a marshmallowy flavor. I also like wildflower honey. Mint honey has a nice aftertaste. Star thistle honey has a unique flavor. Love your Starfield vids. Unfortunately, put me off from playing it, but much appreciated. Happy to help, Safir. Happy to help. Don't waste your time on that game. Play better games. But I thank you so much for watching them. I'm really glad you enjoyed the videos. Part 3 comes out tomorrow. Starfield Part 3 is out tomorrow, so you'll have to let me know what you think. Meadow foam, like a flower meadow foam, Sagittarius. Don't they spray smoke at bees to melt them out? I think that counts as being drug addled. They do, yeah. Beekeepers will walk around with these little they'll stuff like burlap down inside this little tin, and it's got like a spigot, and then they light the burlap on fire, and then they blow it out so it's just smoldering, and they stick it down at the bottom of the like tin, close it up so it's just like the spigot, and then they squeeze the handle, and it works like those big like things you use to like increase the size of a fire, and it'll blow smoke out of the spigot, and the bees will like chill out. Mack has bee and date facts. Honey's really interesting. If we didn't already have a dedicated honey buyer, I would probably be kind of gunning for doing that. If our honey purchaser ever decides to leave, I may attempt to take that over. It's a really complicated category. Really, really complicated. Because the thing is, like, bees are very fickle creatures, and most bees do not always create honey. You know, they like most, like bees tend to create honey, but sometimes they don't make much. And so beekeepers don't survive off of honey sales. Most beekeepers make their money by renting their bees out to farmers to pollinate their crops. So it's a big thing in California with like almond orchards, where beekeepers will just stick their bees in an almond orchard for a few weeks. The farmer will pay them for it, and the bees will just pollinate the almonds. So that's where most beekeepers make their money. They don't make most of their money in honey. Honey's like an afterthought. Honey's like, if we have honey, we'll sell it, but if we don't, it's not a big deal. So there's that aspect of it where you can't just like go to the same source for honey every year. Sometimes some beekeepers just don't have a lot of honey to sell. So you have to find other sources for it. And then like the variety of honey can sometimes be kind of up in the air. Like our purchaser has talked about it with me a lot. Like sometimes they'll tell you like, oh, this is blackberry honey, but then you'll taste it and it's more like a spring nectar honey because the bees got access to too many plants that were not blackberries, and it became kind of more of a mixed honey rather than like a specific variety. So you have to be able to discern that taste and make decisions based on it. It's a really complicated category, and I'd love to learn more about it. It'd be really difficult to get into it, but you know, if the guy who's buying it now ever decided to leave, I'd be very interested in taking it over. The honey purchaser is in grave danger getting dumped in the bee barrel. Well, Charity's got a lot of experience dumping honey on people now, so I'm sure she can help out with that. Bellows, thank you guys, that's what it is. Honey slaps, not gonna lie. Honey's lit, I love honey. Put honey in my tea every morning. Mack is gonna promote his honey on stream if his honey buyer goes away. Well, I talk about the stuff. I don't talk about the dried fruit I purchased right now, do I? I mean, I talk about it, but I don't promote it because I don't want people knowing where I work. Don't bees also make a lot of wax? Yes, they do. They do. They make wax and pollen both. Bee pollen is actually very flavorful. It's not their pollen, but it's like the collected pollen from like the shit they eat, and like it's very sweet. It's nice. Like pollen's like got like a flavorful, a flavor to it. And both bee pollen and wax are both actually pretty good for you. So most honey you find on the shelves, they're like heated up to sterilize them, and they're run through filters to get rid of things like wax and pollen. But wax and pollen are actually really good for you. So where I work, it's called raw honey, which means it hasn't been heated, and the wax and the pollen have not been removed, so it's better for you. Without and you know, you don't notice it. Like it's not like the honey's chunky, but it's got wax and pollen in there, like little particles of it. I put pollen in smoothies for a while. That's a good idea. It's a great idea. Couldn't guess you love honey. And that's why this stream is sponsored by... I love your videos. Please keep making them. I plan to. Day's sandwich or do sandwich. I intend to. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like them. Humans are so weird. We really be drinking cow's baby water and eating bug goop. But the bug goop be good though. A recent study was done with treats being given out at regular intervals, and the bees would know when to come out for them. They sent them to another country, and it showed bees get jet lag. Bees are actually really intelligent bugs. They're very smart. They have like personalities. You ever talk to beekeepers? They can tell you about the personality of individual colonies in their bee collection. Mackie asks us how we're doing, but how about you? I'm great. Thanks for asking, Apollo. They were re-shingling my roof for a couple days, which meant for one thing, like the motherfucker started work at 7 a.m. You're working on someone's home. You don't think I want to sleep past 7? So they woke me up a couple days in a row, and it was like constant noise for like 2 days. So finally they're done, and it's like quiet in my house, which is great. And Starfield Part 3 is coming out tomorrow. So I'm excited about that and making great progress on the Donzadon video. So yeah, things are good. Things are great. Hello, fellow cat-loving man. What's up, What's up, Preston? Can I just call you Preston? Is Preston okay? I don't know how to just Preston, oh man. I'm just gonna call you Preston. Sup? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hopefully Luna wasn't too disturbed by the noise. She was. She was. She was getting like spooked and freaked out by all the louder sounds. The more quiet sounds didn't bother her, but the loud sounds like made her jump and freak out, which was not great. Preston is fine. Lit. Let's go. I heard that it's hip to do something with bees. And by the way, I'll also mention honeybees are not on the verge of extinction. All like this save the bees stuff. They kind of fucked up the marketing with save the bees, because the thing is they were not talking about honeybees. A lot of people seem to think that honeybees are in trouble. Honeybees are good. Honeybees are good because people love honey. Honeybees are good. It's every other species of bee that is in trouble. So if you're thinking about like buying a bee box to support saving the bees, don't bother. There's too many honeybees. I was reading an article from people who like sell bees, and there's like lots of people that like want to buy bees and like put them like on the roof of their building to like support saving bees, whatever. Honeybees don't need it. Honeybees are good. The bee talk reminds me of a video I watched recently that actually talked about the bee extinction issue. I'd love to hear your takeaways from it. Probably that honeybees are fine. Whenever I hear Preston, I'm reminded another settlement needs our help. I ended up watching the Don Don premiere and I really enjoyed it. I just hate that they didn't resolve Turbo Granny in the movie. Well, you have to keep in mind that the movie is the first 3 episodes of a series. So that's kind of to be expected. That said, I haven't watched it, and I'm sure a lot of other people haven't either, so let's not talk about it too much and avoid spoilers. Bees that pollinate tomatoes and eggplants are still in danger, though. Okay, so that's a specific variety of bee, I'm sure. Yeah, like fig bees. Who talks about fig bees? There's a variety of bees that climbs into a fig to pollinate it, and then stays there, procreates, and dies, gets absorbed into the fig. You might think it's gross, but that's just nature, baby. And fig bees? Ain't no one talking about fig bees. A lot of talk about honeybees, not a lot of talk about fig bees. Fig bees nuts. Isn't that a type of hornet that dies in the figs? It might be a hornet and not a bee. I'm not. You might be right. I'm not certain. Oh no, Nintendo and Pokemon Company are suing Pal Worlds. Ah! Took longer than I expected for that to come around. Surprised it didn't happen sooner, honestly. I have not watched Blue Lock. Mack is not up to date on his Hornet/Bee lore. I'm unsubscribing. Hey! I know more than the average person, don't I? I know it was just 3 episodes. It was just a weird stopping point, but it definitely makes you want to see what happens next. Well, that's the point. Leave off on a cliffhanger. Maybe you should do a camera just for Luna so you can watch her on stream. But Luna moves. Every time someone suggests the Luna cam, the thing you guys don't understand, Luna moves. She doesn't just sit in one spot all stream. Put a GoPro on Luna. How are we doing on gas and sleep? We're good. Still good. Where am I? Who knows? Tramway Boulevard? I'm in someplace. I tried to find your YouTube channel some days ago, and I kept searching for Dr. Mack, not realizing you didn't have a PhD. Well, I'm sorry. I'm a college dropout. You could pass judgment on me all you want, but until you've walked a mile in my shoes, I don't want to hear it. Apparently the lawsuit is over patent violations, not copyright/IP. What patent could Palworld possibly be violating? Patents in video games are stupid. Matt, can you fix a GoPro on yourself when you usurp the bee product thrown at your work? I'm just gonna start laying traps for our bee purchaser. For our honey purchaser. Just trying to find ways to make him look like an idiot. I actually couldn't. He is like such a better purchaser than I am. I have so much respect for him. He's a really incredible guy. I don't have as much experience. This would be expected, but you know. Mac beekeeping vlog win. Still mad the Nemesis system got patented? Patented is one thing to be mad about. Never fucking using it is another thing to be mad about. Oh shit. I was looking at chat. Was not paying attention to traffic. I managed to avoid an accident, but barely. I draw hentai for a living now, so who's really winning here? You, absolutely you. You beat us all. On one hand, patents are good because, you know, the people who invent things should be able to take advantage of that invention, so to speak. Why are you going so slow? What's the deal? On the other hand, if you aren't gonna fucking use it, then let the people have it, bro. Why are you going so slow? What's the deal? Palworld is such a different game from Pokemon. I'm genuinely curious to see what patent they violated. I really like. I can't think of anything that they're doing that is unique to Pokemon that Pokemon could have a patent for. At least he's going slow on the right lane. I mean, that's true, but I still don't get why he was going so slow. Can't count past 10 or tell you what the powerhouse of the cell is, but I'm exceptionally good at drawing feet. Hey, that's all you need, really. You could have a patent on these nuts. You motherfucker. I'm of the opinion that the intellectual commons needs to be more aggressive at claiming works. I agree, and I think companies like Disney are a big part of why it's so difficult for properties to become part of the public domain again. Or not in public domain, but just available for like fair use or whatever. Because, you know, we've all seen the meme about like how every time Mickey's about to enter the public domain suddenly, the amount of time it takes to go into public domain suddenly gets longer. That's so weird. How does that happen? But I also think about like, there's just such an attachment to intellectual property these days to the point where I think it's kind of at a detriment. Like like obviously I don't. Oh shit! I'm hitting this rail. Oh, we're good. We're good. Road's a bit slick. It's rainy. These are some tough bends. We're good. Obviously, I think that you know, creative people should have ownership of their own work. Which remind me, there's another story I have to tell about someone stealing my fucking work, but I'll get to that in a second. Obviously, I think the people that create something should have ownership over their own work, but I think, you know, the ability to remix, reuse things should be a little more free form, because taking inspiration, remixing things, remaking things, that's a big part of how creativity expands and evolves. And especially in the case of like a property that's not making money anymore, that the creator isn't making more of, who is benefiting from having that locked up behind legality and all that? You know, I remember like someone tweeted once, and I really was like, yeah, that's 100% true. It's like, if the concept of a library was created today, libraries would be illegal. They would just be illegal. The only reason libraries can exist today is because they've been a thing for like most of human history, and people just accept them at this point. But if libraries were invented today, they would be illegal, 100%. We should protect the artist and their work, but if it becomes incorporated, sorry, here comes the hammer and the sickle. Nothing's ever been 100% original, but it has been especially bad these past years. So anyway, speaking of someone stealing my shit, I stumbled upon a YouTube video about Vinland Saga not too long ago. A couple days ago. And within the first 3 seconds or so of the video, the guy just, there's in my Chainsaw Man video, not even in my Vinland Saga video, in my Chainsaw Man video, I have an animation of the door, the Chainsaw Man door opening, and then it zooms into it. And they just cut that and used it in their video. They just stole the door animation that I made completely. I left a comment being like, hey, can you not fucking steal my shit that I made? No response. Like, to me, no one, that person did, like, if they had, like, A, asked permission, B, remixed it in some way, you know, found some way to make it their own, that's whatever. But they just ripped it. They just ripped it and used it and didn't, and for, like, and the thing is, it wasn't even relevant either. They weren't even talking about Chainsaw Man. I think they just liked the way that the animation looked, and they're like, that's mine now. You know, I really hope it wasn't a larger creator. No, they were much smaller than me, which is why I'm not going to say who it was or put a highlight on it, because I don't want to send harassment their way. But not cool. Get H-bomb on another 4-hour plagiarism video. That wouldn't count as plagiarism. That's just kind of content theft. And I guess in an extremely technical sense, it falls under fair use because they used less than 10 seconds of my 3-hour-long video. Still not cool. AR is not art. Art, it's for me. Whatever. AI bros always say it's a matter of opinion. It's just your opinion that doesn't look good. But if you ask me, art is not art without the human component. Humans, you know, the person creating it is a part of the art. You remove that from the art, and it's not art anymore. And no, the person typing prompts into the AI generator, it is not, you know, the human behind it. That's nothing. I got an email recently about possibly doing a Displate sponsorship. Y'all know Displate. Displate's done a lot of YouTube sponsorships. And I was thinking about it because I'd seen Displate before and I thought they were kind of cool. But then I went on Displate's website, and they have like all the gaming and anime stuff that they advertise in their like YouTube ads. But there's also like a shit ton of AI generated art on Displate that is not like notated as AI art. It's just being passed off alongside the human-made art as if they're the same thing. So I'm not going to take that sponsorship. I'm against that morally. I'm not cool with that. Displate sucks eggs, and you can upload art that's not your own, in my experience. Yeah, I didn't realize that a lot of Displate's catalog is like user created. I thought that they like, I mean, they must have agreements with the companies that they do IPs with, but like other shit, like the other art that's on there that's not like related to an IP, it's user created. It's not even like artists that they hire. It's like someone uploaded it, and they're not doing anything to verify that it's like their work, or that it's even like not like good work, or that it's AI generated or what. Moral Mac, the defender of moral. I mean, listen, here's the thing. I would love to do sponsored videos. Sponsors don't like my channel, because what sponsors look for is like consistency. They want like a consistent number of views every month. And I don't have that because I disappear for months at a time. So even though I pull in a lot of views, I don't pull in a lot of views consistently. So the advertisers don't like me. But they like me right now. I've gotten a couple of emails right now because my channel is doing really well right now. And I have the possibility that I could get a sponsorship on the Don to Don video because my channel is doing well right now. And I can be like, hey, look at all these views I'm pulling in on a monthly basis. But I'm not going to just take any old sponsorship. I'm going to try to find stuff that I can like get behind to some degree. And, you know, like I said, I'm against what Displate is doing from a moral standpoint, so I'm not going to take the fucking money. And if that means I don't have a sponsor in the video, then fine, I don't care. I kind of accepted the fact that I wouldn't have sponsors because sponsors just don't like my channel. One of my friends' art got stolen and uploaded onto Displate without him knowing and credit. That sucks. That is such BS. Cheers from Brazil. Just to let you know, don't keep on the left lane unless you are overtaking. Hey, don't tell me how to drive. I was overtaking until this guy decided to speed up. No backseat driving in this stream. How you doing, Allison? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for liking on the way, and I appreciate it. How do you feel that the channel White Light? Don't know. I've never heard of him. Yeah, Mac, you fucking lane rider. Okay, but listen. Okay, well, you're driving on the highway. You're driving on the highway, and you're going at a speed that you are passing every single person in the right lane. And there's no one that's behind you that is trying to pass you. Do you have any reason to merge back over? Are you going to merge back over between every car that you pass? Or are you going to see, oh, I just passed one car. I'm going to pass the next car. I'm just going to stay in this lane. If someone pulls up behind me and they're going faster than me, I'll move out of their way. I will. But if I'm consistently passing right lane drivers, I'm just going to stay in the left lane. If I'm not obstructing anyone and I'm consistently passing the people that are in the right lane, I'm staying there. That's my lane now. Sorry. Find an advertiser that sells things people need every couple months, like toothbrushes or holiday decorations. Well, it's not always something I have control over. I'm gonna get the sponsorships that I get. There is one sponsor opportunity that I won't talk about it. I probably shouldn't talk about it just in case the video doesn't end up getting sponsored. But there's one sponsorship at least that I would feel comfortable taking that I'm talking to right now. You will get a ticket? Where? They don't give you tickets for that in the US. White Light reviews video games. He has a small series called The Boundless Mediocrity, of what? Bethesda? They just add it to your taxes. That depends on the state. They do that in Texas. They don't do that in Oregon. Oh, yes, they do. You should make a video about it. A video about what? Tickets on the highway? I have never gotten a ticket for sitting in the left lane too long. And I've never heard of anybody getting a ticket for that. That doesn't happen in the US. Of insert topic. Oh, I see. I see. Listen, I don't like claim the left lane as mine and block everybody from driving it. All I'm saying is, like, if there is like a consistent stream of people in the right lane that you are passing, I'm not going to merge in between all of them. I'm just going to stay in the left lane. And if someone comes up behind me, they're coming up behind me, they're driving faster than me, they want to go faster than me, I'll get out of the way so they can go past me. That's what the passing lane's for. They want to pass me, I'm going to let them pass me. But if there's no one behind me, and I'm consistently passing the people in the right lane, I'm just going to stay in the left lane. The next video should be driving faster on the left lane until I get pulled over. About people getting arrested for staying in the left lane, they exist. I don't believe, maybe in other countries. It's not a US thing. You're beautiful, of course they won't stop you. I don't think my hotness has ever gotten me out of a ticket, but thank you, Preston. I feel like people should get tickets for being too slow on speeding highway because they can cause accidents. There are highways in the US that have like a minimum speed limit. I've seen that before. That's not too uncommon. Someone's knocking on my door. I'll be right back.
So, hi. Got another package for you.
Were you here a few days ago?
I was.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Okay. I had an interesting situation right just now. So I ordered something from Italy, but the thing that I ordered was wrong. I was buying off a website and I bought the wrong version of something. I needed like a slightly different version. So I bought the one thing. It had already shipped by the time I realized it was the wrong thing. So I bought the right thing and I was like, I'll return the wrong thing. So a couple days ago, package gets dropped off. It's from Italy, so it was shipped by DHL. DHL is not like, they don't have the most drivers in the US. And just now, the correct thing got dropped off, and it was the same delivery driver. And he remembered that he was here. You're far too beautiful to be pulled over. It's an unfair competition. They should just keep adding lanes, TBH. Man, that's what they do in Texas. You seen those roads? That shit is whack. Now, what they need to do is make public transport more of a viable option so there's less cars on the road. But that's just me. I know that's woke, liberal, anti-American, communist mindset. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't pass this guy. That'd be a dick move. I believe most highways in the US have a minimum speed limit. You just have to have your hazards on if you go below it. They have a minimum speed limit. Dang, I wish that works on the highway I live on. You're supposed to go 70 miles per hour, but people are on it going 40 or 50 for no reason. They won't move. And they don't have 2 lanes. Ah, yikes. Yeah, it's a thing in a few places in the US. It was more of a thing in Michigan. It's not so much of a thing here in Oregon, but. Oh yeah, Mac, do your coworkers watch your videos or even know that you have a YouTube channel? Some of them do. They all know that I have a channel because I talk about it a lot. A couple of my coworkers have watched my videos, and they've told me how that they really liked them. They thought they were really good, which was nice. Max pushing for train supremacy while trucking. Listen, I'm from the U.S. Here's the thing. I love driving a car. I like driving a lot. I enjoy it. I recognize that so many vehicles on the road is harmful to the environment and harmful to human lives. Not in terms of like car accidents cause injury and death, which is true, but more of like, dude, owning a car sucks. Owning a car, having to pay for it when things break, having to pay for registration, having to pay for car insurance, it sucks. It is like it's just another like thing that costs money that pushes people below the poverty line, because so many places in the US you don't really have a choice. You have to have a car or you're not gonna be able to get anywhere. It's like a necessity. You have to have a car. And having a car comes with all these fucking expenses. And that sucks. So I want public transport to be more of a thing. More of a thing. I want bikes and buses and walking to be, viable options. I want to have a supermarket close enough that I can walk to and walk back, and then I can walk to work or take a bus to work. And there's a train that goes between big cities, and it's affordable. It's affordable public transport, and it's like public transport that like works and is good. We have public transport, but it's usually not very good. It's usually not very affordable. It's usually not very timely. It's for the good of all people that we have better public transport. Having cars all over the place benefits no one but the auto industry. It's a detriment. Whole reason I got ahead was I didn't need a car all these years. Yeah, it costs so much money. For someone who is not in the U.S., what is the average monthly upkeep for a car? Well, it depends. It depends because, not all cars work too well or work the same or are as reliable, and insurance costs can be different. A more expensive car is going to incur more expensive insurance costs. Your insurance costs are also vary based on your age, based on your sex, based on your driving history. There was a time period in my life that I was paying almost $300 a month for car insurance because I was a young male who had an accident on my record. And that's just the way that it was. Nowadays, I pay less than $100 a month for my car insurance, but it's, what the fuck is happening? But it's still like, that's not cheap. My car also doesn't need a lot of upkeep because even though it's very old, it's very reliable. Things don't break on it. I just need to get an oil change every now and then. What's up, Zoro? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for liking on the way in. And then like driver's license costs money. I don't know if in Europe like your ID costs money to have, but here a driver's license costs money to have, and it's not cheap. And I can't remember how much it is off the top of my head, but it's not inexpensive. And you have to pay for your registration, and registration is something like 10 or 20 bucks a month. I barely hit that car. I barely touched it. I didn't even get a ticket for it. I was surprised by it like hitting multiple times. I need to pull over and find somewhere to sleep here soon. Oh, we're coming up on a town. That would be somewhere to sleep there. Oh, I'm in desperate need of sleep. I'm going to start falling asleep here soon. All right, well, let's take a look at this town here. There's got to be somewhere to sleep, right? Probably not there. That looks like a... No, I probably can sleep there. That looks like a dealership. I don't need the directions. We're good. Arkansas mentioned. What's up? What's up, Quizzer? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. We're headed to Arkansas now. Where am I right now? I'm actually not sure. I'm in Oklahoma. We're almost there already? Man, this stream is flying by. Well, registration for my car is about $1,200 per year in Oz, and it isn't that fancy a car. Jesus, that's a lot. Most European countries, I think it's an average about $2,500 for the license itself. What about just like your regular ID? Like, so let's say you don't have a car, a driver's license, because the driver's license is different from like your public ID. Does the ID itself cost a lot of money? Because like my thinking is that if I didn't need to drive a car, I probably wouldn't need to pay a lot for an ID. But I don't know. Someone who doesn't drive would have to tell me that. used to live in Arkansas, so the stream name caught my eye. We're driving there. New Arkansas DLC. We're headed there. Where'd you live in Arkansas? But like, yeah, I make fun of Europe a lot because it's a funny place and the people there are goofy. But there are a lot of things that Europe does that I wish we would adopt here in the U.S. One of them being good public transport options and building walkable cities. I don't think people who are not from the U.S. recognize how difficult it is to get around without a car, because U.S. cities are built with the assumption that you have a car, because everybody has to have a car. So U.S. cities are just built with like, oh, we can put the supermarket 10 miles away from the nearest residential area because everyone has a car they can drive to it from. I think a normal ID is just about $50 to $100 every few years. Once you start adding vehicles is when it gets costly. See, that makes sense. Uh-oh. The mod has gone BRB. We're in trouble now. Reject cars, get a Vespa. I wish I could. Honestly, I'd be down for that. It's just it's just not a viable transport method. Super tiny. I can't legally drive most cars. What? Interesting. Arkansas is hell. Only things here are Walmart, meth, higher murder rates than Chicago, religious hypocrisy, and incest. I can't wait to get there. How you doing, YXT? Welcome to the stream. Are there any new dishwasher stories we can collect? Red light violation. The light was green. What are you talking about? It must have turned red while I was turning. That's BS. Can't see over the steering wheel. How short are you? Hyenas. I'm not in Arkansas yet, but I'm heading there. Right now we're in Oklahoma, but we're driving east. We're headed there. So yeah, all that's to say, as much as I personally enjoy driving a car, I don't want to have to drive a car. I want the option to do public transport and to walk to where I want to go, or to take the bus. And again, like people always bring up like, oh, we have buses in the U.S. Yeah, but they're not good. They're not reliable. They're not timely. You can, there's sometimes like an hour between every stop on a bus route. It's not good. Like 5'3", so average. It's not that short. I guess I don't know. I'm 6 foot. No big deal. Alright, I gotta get gas the next opportunity. Are your legs just long? Are you talking to me? I do have very long legs. I'm more leg than torso, I think. But I also think I have a pretty even mix compared to my dad, who is like all torso. Problem is, if I pull the seat all the way forward, I still struggle to reach the pedals. Yikes. An hour between stops. It's a cross-country coach. No, I don't mean like you get on the bus and it's an hour to the next stop. That's what I mean. I mean like you're at the bus stop and you missed the bus that was supposed to stop there, and there won't be another bus on that route that stops at that stop for an hour. That's what I mean. We've seen you dancing. You do have nice legs. Thank you, Henry. I appreciate that. You guys want to see me dancing right now? Hang on, I'll get the copyright boys on there. Sorry, I'm not looking at the road. Just drifted over like 3 lanes. There we go. You guys can watch me dance. Gotta treat you guys sometimes. Gotta treat you to the copyright boys sometimes. By the way, the boys are dancing to the specialist from Persona 4, right? Yes, they are. Am I supposed to stay on? No, I fucking missed my exit. Fuck! How much did that just off? Okay, that's fine. That's not a big deal. It's going to add some time to my drive, but it's not a big deal. What a confusing highway. I used to be made fun of in school for having nice fingers. Who was making fun of you? Because I have learned that occasionally, some, not all, women will compliment someone's hands if they're attracted to them. And I think you guys can surmise why a woman might be interested in a significant other's hands and fingers. I won't say it. You can infer it. Don't put it in chat or you'll get timed out for being inappropriate, but I'm sure you can infer it. No, Presty, we're not starting about the hands. It's too late. It's too late. We're already on the hand thing. That's an old truck stream meme. Because the hands are the window to the soul. Yeah, see, Gimli gets it. Gimli understands. Tolls? I want to pay no damn tolls. You motherfucker, give me my money back. I feel not very cool asking TBH, but are you like half such a quarter black or something? I genuinely only ask because the curls in your hair are so curly. What's that called? Like a type A hair or something? So I believe I have type 3C hair. That's mostly what other people have told me. I'm not very good at identifying it myself. And you don't have to feel bad asking that because I get asked all the time. The answer is no. I am 100% white. Everyone in my family is white. My hair is very, very similar to like a black person's hair. I learned how to like work with my hair from black people in my life because my white family members did not really know how to handle it. Don't quote me on this, but a guy who lied about cancer lives in Arkansas. I feel like a guy who lied about cancer lives everywhere. Like that's a surprisingly common story for people who just want sympathy. Toll roads are like foreign to me. So foreign to me. I don't know if we have toll roads in Australia, but certainly not in West Oz. They're not like common in a lot of places. Like I live in Oregon and we don't have toll roads basically anywhere. But I'm in Oklahoma. I'm driving through Oklahoma right now, and toll roads are very common in Oklahoma and Texas because Oklahoma and Texas do not collect income tax, so they have to find other places to collect tax, and they collect tax via toll roads. I was looking at chat. I just sent that motherfucker off the road. I used to have a cat who loved eating people's hair. He'd love you. Thanks. Oklahoma doesn't have income tax. No, Oklahoma does. I don't know. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But Texas does not, or at least collects very little income tax. Obviously, you still have to pay income tax in Texas because of the federal income tax rate, but the state itself does not collect income tax. Unless I was misinformed on that. Star Siren seems to think differently, but they either collect no income tax or very low income tax, which is why a ton of YouTubers move there. If you ever wonder why there's a bunch of YouTubers in Texas, it's because they don't collect income tax. Austin's like a YouTuber hideout. Mac is correct, ignore me. Okay, I thought so. Yeah, so Texas has to find other ways to make money, and they do so through things like toll roads instead of income tax. And then there's places in Europe that take more than a third in income tax. I mean, like, here's the thing. I don't think income tax or tax in general are necessarily a bad thing. It's just about, like, does you know, the amount I'm paying in tax properly improve the quality of my life? I don't like how much tax I pay in the U.S. because the U.S. doesn't have universal health care or good vacation days or good retirement programs or good social programs. I pay a ton of money in tax that goes towards the military, which I do not support. So I don't personally, you know, like paying tax in the U.S., but like places in Europe, like they'll have like good social programs and like universal health care and like high amounts of retirement and PTO and things like that, and that's all like subsidized by the government and taxes. So if you know, like if they're repairing roads, if they're upkeeping the infrastructure, or if they're upgrading the infrastructure, I'm fine paying taxes for that, as long as the amount of taxes that I'm paying are going towards something that I think is a good cause and it's not like impacting my ability to live. Then it's fine. That's whatever. I don't like paying taxes in the U.S. because it's not going towards things that I think are good, and it is impacting my ability to live because we have a massive wealth divide. So I don't mind paying the 38% tax that I pay because I was able to take my daughter to the hospital the other night and left with $0 owed. Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. You should be able to do that. We have the ability and the capacity to provide health care to people. There's no reason we shouldn't be doing it. The unfortunate part of this is that it's not all that universally true anymore in plenty of EU countries. It's all becoming more Americanized. That's unfortunate to hear. What's wild is the U.S. does have universal health care. It's just universal emergency care, the most expensive kind. I don't know a ton about it. All I know is that I cannot go to the hospital without walking out with a huge bill, and that bothers me. I guess universal health care was not the right term because, you know, technically everybody has health care through programs like Medicare or whatever. But, like, free health care or affordable health care, that's what we don't have. Instead, we have the most aircraft carriers in the world. You guys know about the aircraft carrier thing? You know, the boats that have, like, airplane landing strips and can carry jets, you know, those things. I don't know the exact number, but I want to say that the country that has the most aircraft carriers that is not the U.S. has like 4 aircraft carriers. We have like 30 in the U.S. I don't really think we need that many more than everybody else. But that's just me. No affordable or subsidized healthcare, but U.S. hospitals and doctors simply work for insurance companies. Well, they're privatized. They really shouldn't be, but they're private companies essentially. They use it against aliens when they invade. In the U.S., the only way to avoid a hospital bill, is to hope that whatever gets you in there in the first place doesn't ever let you leave. It really sucks. Yeah, it's bad. You know, I'm in a good place right now in my life, but there was definitely like periods of my life where it's like if I have a major medical incident, I'm fucking bankrupt. Like I'm just done. And that's the reality for a lot of American families, which sucks. You shouldn't have to live with the anxiety of, oh boy, sure hope I don't get cancer or my entire family will go down with me. Shouldn't have to live with that kind of stress. That's awful. We have the ability to make that not the case. We just don't. Privatization seems to hold a grip over the U.S., unfortunately, because we're so fucking capitalist. Everything has to be owned by some. Privatized schooling, because how is a person supposed to make a wage? How is a person supposed to make a wage if you put a cap on education costs? If you put a cap on medicine costs, won't you think about the poor billionaires? How are they going to afford to live if you put caps on rent prices or caps on hospital prices or caps on education prices? How are they going to afford to live? Won't you think about the billionaires? We don't want to be communists. We don't want to be socialists. Taking care of people and their needs for no other reason than because it's a good thing to do. Mack is so emotional and passionate, you can see it in the driving on the road. Love how the aircraft carriers sometimes are used as hospitals and shelters. Like we couldn't just build a dozen or even hundreds of those. How much the carriers are worth. True that. I can bypass the way station. Yeah, I do need to get gas soon though. I don't have gas here. I agree with the sentiment, but price caps have a bad track record. I mean, listen, I think it's a very difficult thing to do right, but like, price caps is maybe not the right way to go about it, but there does need to be, I think, need to be some regulation over it. What are you delivering? Hate because of copyright protection, boys. What am I delivering? I don't even know. What's the job I'm doing now? Machine parts, whatever that means. Probably vibrators. How would we avoid creating another medical caste system? Here's the thing. I'm not the guy with the answers. I'm just the guy that sees problems. I haven't done the research or taken the time to find the right answer to something. And the thing is, there's pros and cons to every system. That's just the reality. There is no perfect system. I just think that the system that we have in the U.S. is exceptionally bad. Hey Mac, dropping in to like and ask a question. Do you ever take breaks from read/watch good media to watch trash? I'm in the middle of a mental break from Chainsaw Man. These trashy guys, these guys are hitting. No, I can't say I do that. Can't say I do, but that's interesting. I guess you could say that for a few months I took a break from playing good games to play Starfield. But that was not an enjoyable experience. That was an experience out of necessity if I wanted to make a video about it, which I did. Hard caps might not work, but what about a percentage cap, like selling something at 500% of the manufacturing costs not being allowed? It really, like, it's one of those things that you can't really put a blanket over it and say, like, here's how we're going to treat everything, because that's just not how it works. Like, everything's so unique. Everything has such unique problems and has their own challenges to deal with and all that. But I think the approach of doing nothing is not exactly a good one. Let's take half of the fucking budget that we invest into our unnecessary military costs and hire some specialists to figure this shit out. I think capitalism is at least the most optimal model we have right now, but what we're going through is late-stage capitalism, which seems to be the end goal of capitalism. I think that again there is no perfect system. Like yes, there are problems with socialism where it can be taken advantage of in really nasty ways. There are problems with capitalism where it can be taken advantage of in really nasty ways. I think ultimately some kind of fusion, some kind of hybrid system that is neither fully capitalist nor fully socialist is probably the ideal. There are some industries that probably should be handled by a government that can appropriately regulate costs and subsidize things as needed. Healthcare and education come to mind. But, the government probably doesn't need to own grocery stores. Grocery stores do kind of self-regulate. Corporatism, not communism, capitalism. Did I misread? Corporatism. Sorry, I misread. Shit, I need to go in here. Kind of in the way of the road, but that's okay. The map was kind of confusing. I wasn't sure where I needed to go in here. Market will bear what the market will bear. The real answer is align and economic incentives with social good. That sounds like a good idea. Capitalism isn't the best system, but it's the best we have found. Is the most unsighted nonsense thing I've been reading in comment sections for over a decade, and it implies we've tried other stuff. True dat. True dat. I think that the problem is that every time we look at other potential social structures or economic structures, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, people always want to point at the worst possible example of its execution as a reason why we shouldn't even try it. Communism comes to mind. Where people always point at the USSR and China, and it's like, that's not true communism. That's communism that's being taken advantage of. That's it's not really what communism is supposed to look like. We're so afraid to even entertain the idea of something different because we only ever look at the worst example of something happening and just assume it won't work as a result. Not that I'm saying communism is the answer. I'm just saying that's an example of one that always gets pointed to as like communism is inherently bad because the worst examples of it happening have been bad. Saying that it's not real communism is just the not true Scotsman fallacy. I don't really know what you mean by that. You'd have to explain that. Mac, what are you drinking? I got a nice ginger beer. Not actual beer. I'm not drinking while driving. I'd never do that. But I got a nice Bundaberg for you Aussies out there. A nice Bundaberg ginger beer. Am I getting tired? Was that a yawn? I think we're in Arkansas, by the way. It's more than likely. Where's the map? Yeah, we're in Arkansas, baby! Driving through Arkansas right now. There's lots of systems tried across many countries, and by observing all the nuances and end results, we have to separate the intention with the result. You'd never drink and drive, not even a video game. I don't even drink in general. I don't like alcohol. I've never been drunk. I've never even been tipsy in my life. Even if someone came up with the perfect system in theory, it wouldn't work in practice because humans aren't machines who do everything by the numbers. There's that. Like, if there's a way to exploit a system, someone will exploit it. And I think it's ultimately impossible to create an unexploitable system. I think a lot of it comes from how we educate our people. Like, you know, there's this huge like me mindset in the US where everything has to be like, how does it benefit me? Like, I remember I was talking to someone about like getting homeless people off the streets, and I was talking about how, like, you know, things like shelter, things like food, those should just be, you know, subsidized. Those should be things we have the ability to house and feed people. We should house and feed people. That's my opinion. And their immediate response was like, okay, but what, you know, if all these people start getting money for housing and food, what do I benefit from that? And I'm thinking to myself, like, you don't. Humanity fucking benefits from that. Like, the motivation to protect your fellow human should be enough. I don't need to benefit anything from homeless people getting off the street. The knowledge that there aren't people sleeping on the street is enough for me. Why do I need to benefit from that? Why do I need to get anything from that? To me, the knowledge that someone doesn't have to sleep on a blanket in the cold is like, that's a rewarding enough feeling. That's good enough for me. You do benefit from more working and contributing members of society. The economy goes burr. There's that too. And like, people always point at like the worst examples of like people taking advantage of systems. Like, we shouldn't do this because there are drug addicts who will just take advantage of the system. Yeah, well, there's a lot of people who will benefit from the system who wouldn't take advantage of it too. We shouldn't just not do something because there's a chance someone will take advantage of it. I'm just going to drive past this blockade. Blockades are for pussies. Watching the chat discuss political systems and morals with Mack feels like sitting in the back of the car in a booster seat. Shit, this might be difficult to drive past. No, we're good, actually. This is totally fine. This is easy to drive past. Little car accident, never hurt anyone. Altruism is underrated in this country. We really should be working to lift each other up instead of making up a boogeyman like welfare queens. Yeah, absolutely. This is really pretty. Look at this, Arkansas, you got some nice forests. The problem therein, though, is the base of capitalism is exploitation. Say you generate $100 of profit per hour, the owner takes all of it and pays you back $10 for that hour. It just is exploitation. Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of it comes down to like that huge wealth disparity where there's this mindset of like, the CEOs at the head of the company, they should make a lot of money, and it's like, yeah, they should maybe make more than the average person, but they shouldn't make so much more that fucking Bobby Kotick taking home a $30 million check means that 3,700 employees get laid off, which is an all too common story in the video game industry right now. How many people did Microsoft lay off this year? Did you guys hear about this? How many people did Microsoft lay off this year? How many studios did they shut down? How many employees did they lay off? And now they're executing a $60 billion stock buyback. Who does that benefit? Investors. Are you fucking kidding me? You couldn't have spent some of those $60 billion to keep Tango Works up and running? Fuck you. They also announced a 10% dividend increase in that with that buyback. Yeah, it's insane. I was speeding a little bit. Oh, I'm supposed to... Hang on, I need to be over behind this truck. Hang on, pardon me. You'll just have to excuse me. I'm sorry. They're doing a huge buyback. They're doing a huge stock buyback. Realistically, how much work does a CEO do as opposed to 300 employees? I completely agree with the idea that like there are, you know, the idea people are very valuable in the workforce. You know, the people who work for a company that generate ideas. Those people are valuable, and you should pay them a lot of money because it's how you keep a company afloat. But the disparity is insane. It's fucking insane. These people don't need to make as much money as they do. Like it's not necessarily about like how much work does a CEO do versus 300 employees. Like the 300 employees, they're doing a different kind of work than what a CEO is doing. What the CEO is doing is very valuable. I don't know that it's 300 employees valuable so I can get a better bonus this year. You know, the CEO is already going to make a lot of money. They don't need a humongous bonus, especially if it's going to come at the backs of the employees. That's insane. This mindset of like the number has to constantly go up, there can be no plateau, is just, how does that not lead to a massive wealth disparity? If I recall, Nintendo, when they were struggling, the top dogs took pay cuts to keep from doing layoffs. So what you're thinking of is when the Wii U failed and Satoru Iwata took a 50% pay cut so that they wouldn't have to do layoffs, which is a fantastic thing. And the worst part is, though, the worst part about that is not that that other CEOs have not taken that example and run with it. The worst part is how much money Satoru Iwata was actually making. He was not making as much as the average US CEO. He was making a fraction of that amount, and he still took a 50% pay cut. That's I think the worst part about that example is the knowledge that Satoru Iwata was not even making that much money comparatively. It's like on a group project, some person says we should do a presentation about X and then doesn't help anything after that and gets all the credit. Appreciate you, Sagittarius. Have a good day. Thanks for hanging out. And even with a 50% pay cut, he was hardly struggling for money. Yeah, that's the thing. If you didn't give Bobby Kotick a $30 million bonus this year, not that he's working for Activision Blizzard anymore. I just keep thinking about him because he's a piece of shit. But if you didn't give Bobby Kotick a $30 million bonus, it's not like he'd be fucking struggling. He'd be fine. Man, this stream has gotten liberal as fuck. I'm gonna get in trouble on Twitter. Guys, someone talk about putting your toilet brush in the dishwasher or something. You can get this back on track. Is that you parking or is that FSD? That's me parking. I did that. Oh, let me see the map. Gotta find somewhere to gas up and get some rest before I net my next job. This looks like a good spot. Hey, man. Thanks, Skippy. It's fucked up that you would say that. Love to see a dump truck simulator where you can get stuck on a bridge because you didn't lower the trailer. I'd like to see a dump truck simulator where you just have a fat ass and you just twerk. Something tells me you and I wouldn't agree entirely on politics, but just because we have different opinions doesn't mean we can't have an unhealthy parasocial relationship. I mean, you don't have to agree on everything. You just don't. I'm an extremely, I don't know. Ultimately, I'm not the most educated person on politics. I don't pay attention to politics that much. I'm just a humanitarian. And when I see things that go against that philosophy, I speak out against it. But my knowledge about politics in terms of like executing change or what the impact of the things that I propose would be, it's not the best. I'll admit that. I wouldn't go into a debate with a Republican candidate because I wouldn't know what the fuck I was talking about. But, you know, we don't all have to agree. We just don't. We can respectfully disagree. Or we can respectively have different ideas. It's fine. Sauces with more flavor than mayo are woke. Are you from Michigan? That's a Midwest mindset. Would you play a mining equipment simulator with those dump trucks that are like 20 feet high? Maybe. I like simulator games a lot. There's a lot of simulators that I've played over the years. There's actually a couple that I picked up that I've been like wanting to stream and just haven't gotten around to it. This is probably the chillest political discussion I've seen in a while, and I appreciate that. Well, we had the benefit of pretty much everybody in the chat being on the same side. You know, even if we have slight disagreements with how to handle it, we're all on the side of like humanitarianism and the fact that things are broken right now. Say that about Mayo, yet all that was not a red light violation. They fucked up the red light thing somehow in an update. The light was green when I turned. If it changes to red while I'm turning, that's not my fault. What's up, Kyler? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for liking it on the way in. Kyler's packing to move into his new house, or their new house, sorry. Said about Mayo, yet all I ever see is the whitest rednecks eating nothing but hot sauces called stuff like Asshole Destroyer. But the thing is, like, sauces like that don't have flavor. They're just, I'm about to get another red light ticket because it was turning yellow. No, we're good. Sauces like that don't tend to have flavor. They just have burn. I'm actually against humanitarianism. Humanitarianism, people should fend for themselves. True that. Before we leave the discussion of politics, I want to let everyone know that there is a man named Count Binface who consistently runs to become an MP, but can't remember which constituent, though. What a legend. We heading out of bed and a bet. Thank you, chat, for being you. These discussions have made my day and got my brain running again. I'm going to run this. Mac, I can't wait for your next video to come out. Please don't crash. Appreciate you, Enos. My next video comes out tomorrow. Hope you'll watch and let me know what you think. Have a great day, and thanks for hanging out. By the way, guys, if you haven't liked the stream, make sure you do that. And Starfield Part 3 comes out tomorrow. The final part. The final thought. The conclusion that wraps it all up. I'm excited for Part 3 to come out because I think it wraps up my thoughts on the game as a whole really nicely. There's a lot of people who leave comments on Part 1 based on the things I said about Skyrim in like the intro sequence that I think are gonna kind of, it's interesting because they're basically saying what my conclusion is in Part 3. You know, something love from Hawaii. Bye, chat later. Enos. Part 3 is the best part. Thank you, Skippy. I'm very proud of it. I'm really happy with that script for Part 3. It feels really strong to me. It feels like really powerful. Like this is a very like compelling script. I gotta rewatch all 3 parts now. Super excited to move into my new house. That's awesome, Kyler. I'm happy for you. Everyone give Kyler congrats on their new house. Pretty epic, pretty exciting. Everybody, we're going to go to Kyler's house and have a big party. I left feedback in the Bethesda Discord Starfield suggestion box. Rewrite the quest to allow players to fail, and people did not like it. Bethesda fans, when you try to introduce RPG elements into the RPG game. I think there's 2 sides to it. There's 2 sides to it. Like there's number one, there's the idea that like failure doesn't have to necessarily be a bad thing. You can do failure in a video game where it's like an interesting thing that happens that is like a cool part of the experience. There's also the other side of it where if you can't fail, then nothing you do means anything. Imagine having some quest fail in a game where you fucking loop. Imagine having quests that you can fail, or having stories that play out differently depending on your decisions in a game that has a canonical reset button. Imagine that. What a crazy concept. You say that, but y'all might be invited to some stuff once I move in. Pog. Lit. Epic Gaming. Hopefully there's not a truck here because I'm not looking. Starfield was so good if the individual quests were playing in the background and you had to choose what to go after and previous life knowledge was actually usable. Yeah, they basically created a time loop game where the time loop means nothing. This is the wrong spot. I'm in Arkansas. What's up, Lady Rhaegar? So am I. I'm in Arkansas right now. Where am I? I'm somewhere. I'm in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. This is hitting me hard. I save scum while playing XCOM 2. One of my units die. But like, there's still a consequence to that, right? Like, you still have to like redo it or find a new way to do it. Like, there's the fact that you can fail forces you to engage with the game in a different way, right? There's still mechanics to that. There's still something to that. So it's the chainsaw in the truck. Yeah, I got a little chainsaw keychain for the chainsaw fans out there. I'm further west. I'm already pretty far west. Where are you? Where are you, in Jonesboro? There's also no exploration of the apathy that would fester in the human soul when their actions stop mattering. Yeah. Would you ever consider doing cooking stream? I have. I have done cooking stream. Not that long ago. It was like 2-3 weeks ago. I'll do another one eventually. Disco Elysium has an interesting yes and approach to failure that I love. I really got to play that one. I think like I said, I haven't played it because I like wanted to forget the plot twist that I learned about while watching a video essay, but I don't think I'm going to at this point. I still remember it. I think about it every time I think about the game. Doesn't the Starborn end up becoming a priest because they're tired of the cycle of restarting over and over? Yeah, so like there's the main guy who kind of leads you to the Unity at the end of the game. This is Starfield spoilers. Basically stopped looping because he was like, what's the value in doing this? But he's like a super minor character that is shown like one time. By the way, I'm really enjoying your Starfield videos. Well, thank you, Lady Rhaegar. Part 3 comes out tomorrow. So you'll have to let me know what you think about that when it comes out. What do we got in Pine Bluff? Is there anything that's going to take me around Arkansas? We've already been to Little Rock. Let's see if I can find a job that'll take me somewhere else in Arkansas. Jonesboro? Let's go. Let's take household appliances to Jonesboro. How does that sound, everyone? Who's the main character of the game? Constellation. It's not any individual member of Constellation, and it's not you. It's just Constellation. Man, one thing I did not talk about in the Starfield video that I probably should have is how literally no character has any character arc at all. I mean, I guess the main reason I didn't touch it is because I didn't explore any of like the companions like full stories, like if you actually keep them around and form relationships with them, because I just didn't care about the companions. But even then, you should probably write a character arc into the story itself and not just have it as an optional thing that you can skip if you don't engage with the characters. Like, there should be characters who are involved in the story who go through some kind of arc. Oops. Loading screens in Starfield are additionally insulting when you realize most of the storefronts are a single barren room with no purpose except a vendor NPC standing machine. Yeah, it's like awful. I didn't talk about this either, but like there's that one clothes store that I reference a few times throughout the videos. There's that one clothes store, and it's like it's one room with a guy standing behind the desk. The guy never leaves. The store never closes, and there doesn't seem to be a back room. Like, is there no like employee lounge area? Where do they keep their stock? It's a big building, but it's like a 5x5 room, and there's no doors anywhere. Recruitment agency. It might not be a bad idea to hire a driver while I'm here. I've got 2 drivers right now, but enough space for 3. I just need to buy them a truck, which I can afford. Believe me. Recruitment agency is closed. Well, fuck you. Fine. I guess I won't hire one of your drivers. I will, however, crash into one of your cars. Fuck you. Send me the insurance bill, idiot. I'm also going to crash into your building because I think I just stalled my engine out because fuck you. That's why. Whenever I think about Bethesda's main characters and how they just become the most important person in the room by doing nothing, most of the time I'm reminded of nepotism babies. It's kind of real. I think like a problem that I have with Bethesda protagonists is the way it like tries to kind of deceive you into thinking it's your own character, but they very clearly like written a character for you. Like the character they write for you in Starfield wants to be a part of Constellation, even though I don't. Even though the character I want to make doesn't. Like, just be honest about that. Like, don't just like make it clear. Make it clear that the character I'm playing is a character and is not me. That's fine. I like Cyberpunk. I like V. Why? Because V is her own character with her own motivations. I have some control over what she does within that. But V has her own story to live, and I enjoy it. I'm along for that ride. Just fucking be honest about it. Are you going to do a supercut of the Starfield videos of all 3 parts? So yes, I will. This is kind of a breaking news situation. Originally, the plan was for the full like Starfield full cut to come out like a couple weeks after part 3 came out. I am amending that. I am not doing that. Because the Starfield videos have actually done much better than I expected. So I kind of want to wait for the traffic to die down on those before I release the full part. And there's also a chance, I'm not saying this will happen, but there's a chance that I will play the DLC, make a video about it, and then I could roll the DLC into the full compilation cut. So eventually, yes, a full-length Starfield video will come out, but I don't know when right now. You never really realize how much you have to move until you have to move. Oh, God. When I moved to Oregon. Because, like, the first time I moved, it was out of my parents' house. So I didn't have a lot of belongings, and I had to, like, buy a lot of stuff when I moved there. So it wasn't like there was a ton of stuff for me to move. And then when I moved to my second apartment in Michigan, I was leaving a roommate who owned, like, half the things in the apartment. So I didn't have that much stuff to move because I still had to like buy a bunch of stuff when I started to live on my own. Then I moved to Oregon and it was like, oh shit, I own a lot of stuff. Are you interested in it since the world be more handcrafted? Are you talking about the Starfield DLC? Because the answer right now is maybe. While it has been compared to death already, I think Chrono Trigger really is the perfect catalyst for the type of silent protagonist because the game is not about you. I haven't played Chrono Trigger, so I don't know anything about it. But hey, True Love, I'm great. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for liking on the Wayne. I appreciate that. So I talk about this in the outro to part 3. Not that it matters, not that I'm spoiling this, but I just haven't brought it up on stream before. I don't know if I'll like play or make a video about the DLC because the thing is, I'm really busy making a Dawn to Dawn video right now. And then in October, I have some overseas travels planned. So I'm probably not even going to play the Starfield DLC until like November. So I'm going to be late to that one as well, which I actually don't think matters that much. I was late to talking about Starfield, but I'm still getting good views about it, so it's not a big deal. But I am going to be late to talking about the DLC if I talk about it, because it'll be like a month and a half before I even get a chance to play it. And I don't even know if I'll want to make a video about it after I play it. You know, if I play the DLC and my feelings are basically like, if I made a video about this, I would just be repeating everything I said in the individual parts, then I probably won't make a video about it. Unless I have something new to say or interesting to say, I'm probably not going to make a video about it. We'll see. It's a big maybe right now. But I'm at least interested in trying it. I just don't know when I will. I went to Home Depot and picked up some big totes, and my cards alone filled out a huge box and a half of a smaller one. Cards take up a lot of space, man. At some point, you need to make a trip to Michigan and visit at some point. As long as it isn't during the winter. Maybe during the fall. How long will Don Don video be? It's about 20 minutes. It'll be a little more than that once I add some things here and there, but it's like just over 20 minutes. It's a short video. I'm gonna keep saying this because I want to meter people's expectations, right? Like, so people are gonna look at that and then they'll be like, you're gonna make an hour-long video about Demon Slayer, but you'll only make a 20-minute video about Don Don. There's a difference, right? So my videos have up until now been very analysis heavy. It's like it's a deep dive into a detailed look at a story, what works about it or what doesn't work about it. This video is gonna be different because Don Don's just not that deep. There's not a lot there to examine or analyze. It's not really an analysis video as much as it is a recommendation video. It's going to be me talking about why I like Don and why I think people should watch Don now that the anime exists. So I just want to get that out there. It's not like I'm making a short Don video because I don't care about it as much as Demon Slayer. It's just kind of one of those things, like I don't have a ton to say about it other than that this is good and I like it and you should check it out, right? So it was either make a short video about Don or don't make a video about Don because I don't have enough content to make like a long video about Don. It would be stretching it. It would be forcing it to make a long video about Don. I just want to point that out there. Also, something I heard is Starfield CK reveals the POI system isn't even modular, so you can only use one mods at dungeon locations at a time. What? Sorry, you I don't know what CK or POI are. I apologize. When will the Final Fantasy is that 12? Final Fantasy 12 video coming out? I have no idea what Don it is, but given your thoughts on Demon Slayer, it has to be at least be good. Yeah, so the thing that I found really frustrating when I talked about Demon Slayer was how many people took away from that I didn't like it because it was a simple story, right? It's a simple story. You don't like it because it's simple, even though that's nothing I ever said. Dandadan is what people tell me Demon Slayer is to me. When people tell me that Demon Slayer is just a simple, no-nonsense, fun story that's engaging, that's Dandadan to me. Demon Slayer is not that. Dandadan is. It's simple, it's straightforward, it doesn't have a deep plot. It's just really fun and entertaining. That was a stop sign that I just ran past. Creation kit, a point of interest. Oh, okay. I'm curious, what got you into anime in the first place, Mac? Well, that's a hard answer. I've been watching anime pretty much my whole life. I grew up staying up past my bedtime to watch Bleach on Adult Swim. So I honestly cannot tell you the first anime I watched or why I watched it, because it probably predated my conscious memory. I remember watching Dragon Ball, I remember watching One Piece and Naruto and Bleach. I think Chainsaw Man is deceptively simple, which is why I made a video called Chainsaw Man is Deeper Than You Think. I think Chainsaw Man is simple enough that you can enjoy it without understanding like the deeper messages, but it is ultimately a much deeper, more complex story, if you ask me. When I got to know Mack in like middle/high school, he was already like 500 episodes into One Piece. Yeah, I've been reading One Piece since I was 15, I believe. When I met you, Kyler, when I met you in 2012, I was not reading One Piece. I know because I know exactly when I started reading One Piece. But I started reading One Piece in 2015, and then you started working at Camp Barry in 2016. So that's that. I was already deep into the One Piece all by then. Anime I've gotten into in its entirety is in Vinland Saga. Never really got into them. It's not for everyone, I suppose. Sailor Moon and Pokemon. Ah, nice. Ironically, him touching a boob in Chainsaw Man was actually really nuanced. It really was. It really was. It really frustrates me when people just boil Denji down to like, oh, incel, because like that really shows how little you're understanding about the story. Have we talked about how you hated my ass when we first met? We did on like a 24-hour live stream. Yeah. So Ancient Relic here in the chat, by the way, guys. Go follow Kyler on Twitch, twitch.tv/Ancient Relic. Is a frequent member of 24-hour live streams. We've been friends for years. We used to work at summer camps together. But the first year we worked at a summer camp together in 2012, I hated Kyler. And it was purely from a point of like projection. Kyler did nothing wrong. It was all me. The reason I hated Kyler is because I was an annoying kid that all of the other staff members hated, and they liked Kyler. So I was jealous of him. I was really jealous of him, and I hated him because all the other staff members like liked him and wanted to like spend time with him and all that, and they hated me because I was annoying, and I was really annoying. So I deserved it. I wouldn't have wanted to hang out with 14-year-old me. But then we were working at the same camp again in 2016 and became really good friends. Do I have my timeline right? No, I have my timeline wrong. I'm sorry. I have my timeline totally wrong. 2012 was Lost Lake. 2013 was my first year at Barry. 2013 is when I started reading One Piece. 2013 was the year that Kyler wasn't there. It was the year, there was 2015. No. Yeah, 2015 that I came to work at Barry again. Kyler was there and we became friends. And I was already deep into the One Piece hole by then. How old are you, Mac? I'm 26. Feels like people say that about Denji are rage baiting. No, I think they're just genuinely stupid, you know? Reading Comprehension Devil and all that. You weren't there in 2014, right? Yeah, so I took, I worked there in 2013. 2014, I took like the summer off from doing summer camps. And then 2015, I came back. And 2015 and 2016 were the years that I was the tech director. And the last year that I worked there. Very sad. Still miss it. So I worked there in 2013. You did not. You worked there in 2014. I did not. So we both kind of like cemented our place in the camp separately. And then came back together. It's neat to see people talk about their anime gateways in the comments. What got me into it was a middle school buddy lending me Full Metal Panic and Vandred DVDs. I never heard of Vandred. That's a new one for me. Yeah, it is interesting. It is always interesting, especially seeing like how it changes throughout the years. I mean, obviously in like 10 years, there's going to be a ton of stories about people who got into anime because of Demon Slayer. And probably a lot of stories about how people realized Demon Slayer sucked when they got older. But maybe not, because there's lots of people who still like Dragon Ball. Someone's going to be really hurt that I said that. I'm just personally not into Dragon Ball, but it's fine if you are. Excuse me, folks. Don't mind me. Road blockages are for pussies. Vanred is basically men are from Mars, women are from Venus, the anime. What the fuck? Sounds lit. I'm weird on Dragon Ball. I think it's fun, but I'll endlessly talk shit on the writing. I get why people like it from like just thinking it's a fun perspective. It's just not personally for me. Does it surprise you that my two gateways are Madoka Magica and Akame ga Kill? That is kind of surprising. So you would have gotten into anime in like your teenage years, wouldn't you? Because those came out, I swear, Akame ga Kill came out when I was in high school, I think. Dragon Ball is fun, but so is shit talking it. I still have to finish it, but I got the impression from your Demon Slayer that they created a lot of faux complexity for the sake of padding out the lore. Yes. Wow. Congratulations, Dissident. You understood the message of the video. There's a surprising number of people who didn't get it. But yes, that's absolutely what the problem was. I think Demon Slayer is way too complex for its own good. They should have cut out any attempts at character development. They should have cut out all the backstory bullshit. They should have cut out any attempt at writing a power system, just focused on making the action fun, because that was the one thing it did well. In the anime, at least. I didn't think it did a good job in the manga, but that's neither here nor there. Oran High School Host Club was one of my first anime I ever finished. Man, that's a classic. That's a classic. Who remembers the incestuous gay twins? Hell yeah, Oran High School Host Club. Demon Slayer and JJK were my actual anime gateways. Yeah, because you got into it pretty recently, huh? Kami Got Kill kind of anime upset me, considering when I went back to read the manga, I liked the manga so much more, especially with how they kept the MC story going. I don't even remember it that well. I just remember a lot of people dying. A lot of people die in a Kami Got Kill. That's like the one thing I remember about it. I also watched Oran, was actually my first anime in like 5th, 6th grade. Okay. Reason I started following your content, Mac, was because of your Demon Slayer analysis along with your Berserk one, because I'm such a sip for guts. Well, I'm really glad you liked them. Thank you so much. Makes me really happy when people enjoy my videos. If anything, I felt Demon Slayer's characterization was very surface level and expected you to care for characters without any rhyme or reason. It absolutely did. It's kind of like the suspension of disbelief problem from like that I talked about in the Starfield video. Remember, like Bethesda isn't trying to convince you that it makes sense. They expect you to ignore that it doesn't. That's the line that I said in the video. I think it's a pretty strong line, if you ask me. I think I write decent videos. Demon Slayer feels to me like they expect you to care about the characters because they exist, rather than taking the time to make you care about them. And it worked for a lot of people, because I get tons of comments from people who are like, oh, Rengoku made me cry because if I saw a stranger dying on the street, I would feel bad for them because I have empathy and I have a soul. And I'm like, yeah, but he's not real. He's not real. If I saw a random person dying, I'd feel sad too, but Rengoku isn't a person. He's not real. He's a figment of imagination. So if you want me to care about him, you gotta make me care about him. Sorry. If they thought a sad backstory will do it. Everyone has a dead family member, I guess. Yeah, as long as they have a sad backstory, you'll care about the characters no matter what. That's basically the Demon Slayer method. Rengoku's real to them. I guess so. But, like, I get that, though. Like, you know, Luffy feels like a very real character to me. Thorfinn feels like a very real character to me. But that's because the writer took the time to make me care about them. They didn't expect me to. Or a real person, sorry. I crashed into a car once or twice when you're parking trailer. It's not a big deal. When I was working at Whole Foods, we had a truck driver who was so bad at backing into our loading bay that he burst a water main that was in front of the store. And they had to shut down the store because there was no water. Ooh. What happened to the trucker? What are you talking about? I am the trucker. This one made in Abyss is quite possibly my favorite anime of all time. The first third of the manga is spent just setting up the world and characters, makes you care before there's any stakes. Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, I talked about it in my Vinland Saga video. Like, one of the things that makes Vinland Saga so strong to me is how long they spent setting up the concept of violence bad by acting like an anime that glorifies violence. What happened to the trucker? Oh, the one who burst the water main. Probably nothing. Probably nothing. I don't know. They didn't work for us. They worked for the company that, like, you know, was shipping our stuff. But probably nothing. Like, there's lots of truckers who just have no idea what they're doing. It is not uncommon to find a trucker that doesn't know how to back up. Believe me. Something like that would get you fired? I mean, you know, I don't necessarily think it should. I'm of the mind that, you know, people should be given the chance to learn from their mistakes and grow from them. But there's obviously a limit to it where someone makes enough mistakes without showing any signs of growth, then they get fired. Sure, that makes sense. But man, it always kind of ticks me off when, like, IGN posts a bad review and people are like, this reviewer should be fired. And I'm like, should they be fired, or should their work be looked at so they can learn from it and grow from it and try to do a better job next time? Unless they have a track record of posting poorly thought out reviews, and I don't think immediately getting terminated is the right answer. I really dislike that reaction on the internet where people are like, someone did something wrong, let's fire them. You got to be allowed to make mistakes or you'll never grow. Don't even get me started on the game journalism stuff. The game journalism industry is a mess, and the consumers of it are worse. Vinland Saga also emphasizes the fact that violence equals bad by its second half by having Thorfinn come to terms with his past and a very realistic way manage his trauma. Yeah, it always frustrates me when people are like, oh, season 2 is too slow. It's like, it needs to be slow. It needs to be. It needs to take the time to set that up. Otherwise, it doesn't have a lot of meaning. I don't know if there's a way for me to turn into where I want to go. Oh, no, there is. We're good. Someone honking at me. Fuck you, idiot. I find it funny if those same people also IGN is a joke, but they don't like a game, they do fire them. This review is tarnishing it. Oh, well, that's absolutely true. There's absolutely that mindset of like, this review did not confirm my opinion, therefore it's a bad review, rather than like listening to the fucking contents of it. But for me, it depends on the severity of the mistake. Shitty game reviews aren't severe enough for a mistake to warrant termination. I think intent has to be considered too. Like, if something is done out of malicious intent, then yeah, someone should probably get fired for that. But most of what happens is it's a mistake, and people should be allowed to make mistakes. Otherwise, they'll never get better. You know, that's just how it is. We can't cut someone off from a career path because they made a mistake. Otherwise, they'll never, get good enough to do it well. It's also like something I heard recently that I liked was just like assume good intent. It might feel like the wrong thing to do because the world is a horrible place and there are a lot of malicious people out there. But I think generally you should just assume good intent. All the time, there'll be like a mistake that I made in a video, and people will be like, Mack lied about this. He lied about it because he has some ulterior motive. He lied about it to make the game look worse. No, I'm an idiot and I made a mistake. You shouldn't just assume ill intent because it's something that upsets you. It's there's two lines that I think are good. First, assume good intent, and also don't attribute to malice what can be explained by ignorance. There's that too. Not everybody who says something you dislike has malicious intent. Sometimes they're just an idiot. I'm an idiot. Sometimes they are just ill-informed. Sometimes I'm ill-informed. Sometimes they have good intentions and just do something in a way that doesn't work with you. People are different. Everyone's different. Everyone has different ways of operating, different things that they do, different ways that they approach life. And so when someone does something that upsets you, it's not necessarily because they're trying to upset you. They're probably trying to do something else that got misconstrued. They probably had good intentions rather than malicious intentions. So just assume good intentions until proven otherwise. Mack lied about being 6 foot. He only has 2. You don't know that. I don't have a wiki feats yet. You can't prove that. You don't know shit. I heard an expansion on that incompetence can be weaponized to the point of being malicious. But that's the thing. You're taking like the worst example of it and attributing it to everybody. Which is why I'm saying again, assume good intentions until proven otherwise. You shouldn't jump to the assumption that someone is weaponizing their incompetence. You shouldn't jump to the assumption that someone has malicious intent until you have like multiple examples of it happening. When I was placing down those mines and hell divers, it was malicious. You're right. Just to a degree, people can be weaponizing it. You're right. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right that there are malicious people out there. You're absolutely right. There are people that will weaponize their incompetence. You're absolutely right that if you give people a break, sometimes they will take advantage of that. But we shouldn't assume that people will. Assuming positive intent is also a good idea because assuming the worst is a very uncurious and some might say lazy way of thinking about it. Usually it's a straw man and similar things. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everyone's different. People are very, very different. Sometimes, I say something that might sound offensive to you, but it might not be offensive to me. And it has something to do with the way that our minds work. And I'm not talking about like saying the N-word. Someone says the N-word, they're just being offensive. That's not a matter of interpretation. Let's put that out there. I'm talking about more like sometimes you phrase something in a way that someone doesn't like or that doesn't appeal to someone. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're trying to hurt them. It just means that you approach conversation, you approach presentation in a different way. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You got to learn how other people operate and assume good intentions until proven otherwise. Otherwise, you're just going to be upset all the time. That's not good for anyone. I got to get up. I'm going to get something to drink. I'll be right back. I was kind of farming a YouTube short there, but getting all my thoughts out. I got some water. I have water. Make another retrospective. When did I make a retrospective? Have I made any retrospectives? What even is retrospective? What does retrospective mean? It also leads to tunnel vision, whereas trying to be more positive generally requires more nuance. Genuinely positive, not blindly. I just, it serves every, it's something I think about a lot at work, at my job, because, people rely on me a lot in my job. I'm a purchaser. I buy things. Every job in the company relies on the purchaser to some degree, right? The sales team relies on us to have stuff in stock for them to sell. The customer service team relies on us to have stuff in stock for them to give to customers. The production team relies on us to have stuff to produce the things that they produce. The warehouse relies on us to keep things in stock for them to move around. Every job is touched by mine to some degree, right? So there are times that someone will reach out and ask a question that can immediately kind of come across as accusatory or, I don't know, like questioning in a way, or like kind of sticking their nose in your business unnecessarily. And I could have this immediate response of like, they're trying to make me, they're trying to question my intelligence, trying to question how I'm doing a job, whatever. But the reality is so much more simple. The reality is that they have their own job to do, and what they need to do relies on you to some degree. So they're going to ask you what you're doing so they can make sure that they can do what they're doing. It's really that simple. And when you have that mindset, you can have a much more positive relationship with your work and the people that you work with. What's everyone's favorite bands? Man, I like a lot of music. It's really hard. It's really hard to choose. Favorite music. Retrospective needs to look at retro things introspectively. I feel like the word retrospective gets used way too loosely on YouTube. People will make retrospectives about a game that just came out. They'll be like Forspoken retrospective a month after it came out. I feel like a retrospective needs like at least a couple years before you can retrospect on something. What other jobs we got? Anything else that'll take us around Arkansas? I do not want to do an oversized load. I'm sorry. I remember seeing a short saying, assuming people are thinking the worst of you in an interaction says more about how you feel about yourself than generally people act nice. That is absolutely true. If your assumption is that someone, if you're assuming people are thinking the worst about you in any situation, that just shows a huge amount of insecurity on your part, that you would see that someone could see this about you, I would say. Will you affirm my taste in music by saying that J-Rock/pop band Eve is good? I haven't listened to a ton of Eve music. I like the one song they did for JJK, was it? I might be wrong about that. Don't quote me. I have definitely heard an Eve song, but I don't remember them that. I don't know their songs that well. Green likes Eve. I know that. A lot of... Okay, let's go to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Are there actually hot springs in Hot Springs, Arkansas, or is that just a deceptive name? I do like a lot of J-Rock, though. I listen to Polka Dot Stingray. I like their music a lot. Sid is fun. Sid is good. The Novembers and the Spellbound, each good songs or good artists. Ah, you're breaking for me for some reason. Sweet. I like to listen to a lot of jazz. If you guys like jazz, Blue Swing is a really good modern Japanese jazz band. The only J-Rock I know of is Into Free from the Dragon's Dogma original release. Is that a thing? They had J-Rock and Dragon's Dogma? That's lit. Honestly, past 3 months, I've just not 3 months, past like 2 months, I've just been listening to the fucking Persona 3 soundtrack over and over. When I release my seasonal songs I liked playlist for July through September, it's just gonna be the Persona 3 soundtrack with like 4 other songs. I can't let go of it. Like, Persona 3 is so stuck in my mind. I loved that game. And I just want to, like, re-experience it constantly. So I just listen to the soundtrack over and over. But generally, I wouldn't say there's a limit on the genre of music that I'll listen to. It's just about finding the music that I like. If you watch Chainsaw Man, you've heard Eve. They made a song for it as well. One of the endings, I'm guessing, because obviously Kenshi Yonezu did the opening, and Kenshi Yonezu is great. I really like Kenshi Yonezu's music. He had an album drop recently that was really good. Sayonara off of that album is really good. I don't know the full name of the song, but yeah, I want to rewatch the Chainsaw Man anime and like see all the endings again. I just haven't gotten time to do it. I have more time recently than I give myself credit for. I've been saying lately that I have like no free time, but the Danzan video I've actually been making really good progress on, so I've been kind of slacking and just chilling a little bit here and there because I feel very confident right now that I'll have the video out in time, not worried about it at all. The video is very far along. So the way I edited the Dandanon video is a little different from usual. I'm usually a very linear editor where I start at the beginning of the video and I end at the end of the video. But with the way I've been editing the Dandanon video, I kind of started with the easy stuff. Like there's, an intro sequence that I knew was going to take a ton of time. So I just skipped doing it. And focus on laying down the easy stuff first so I could like properly meter how much time I have to work on it so I can like see how far I can go with it. And I already did that. So then I worked on the intro for the past few days and now that's like almost done. So like we're good. I'm making good progress on it. Realistically speaking, I'd probably release the Donzon video in like a couple of weeks, but I won't because I'm going to wait for the anime to come out and also because Starfield's coming out and I got to, let that do its thing. I've been working this entire time, and I'm sorry, Mac, but you're not even second monitor content, you're third monitor. That's fucked up of you to say. That's horrifyingly rude. What an awful thing to say to somebody. But also, I don't care. Security check. What are you checking for? I'm here to do a damn job. Get out of the way. We need to watch Blue Lock since the dialogue sounds so cringe out of context, but I swear it slaps in context. I literally know nothing about it other than that it's soccer. That's all I know about Blue Lock. I have 4 monitors. It could be much worse. Whatever. Whatever. 1%er with your 4 monitors. Whatever. Where am I? We're Hot Springs. That's it. Hot Springs, Arkansas. There's so many things going to Pine Bluff. Is Pine Bluff like the capital of Arkansas? What's the capital of Arkansas? Can one of the Arkansasians come here and explain that to me? I don't want nobody to Google it. I want an Arkansasian to tell me what the capital of Arkansas is. And it better not be Little Arkansas. Ooh, I think this is one of the new grain jobs. They added this. There's like a grain hopper that you have to collect grain from before you can leave. If you learn to draw furries, you too can join the 1% Mac. I can't draw for shit though. Have you guys seen the Patreon doodles? Do you realize how much the simp tier subscribers are getting ripped off? They pay me to give them those terrible doodles. So do I already have the grain in here? Do I need to... Shit. Oh no, it's already in there. Never mind. I was hoping it was one of the grain collecting jobs because I want to try that, but I guess this isn't one of them. Mac, I posted Into Free in the music channel. Okay, sweet. I'll give it a listen later. Kind of feels like what Shogeki no Soma is, where you can make a battle manga with any competitive field. Man, y'all gotta get up on Akane Banashi. Akane Banashi, if you haven't heard of it, is a manga running in Jump right now. It's about a girl competing in and learning how to become a rakugoka, which is a Japanese art form that has not been translated to the West, that I had never heard of before reading Akane Banashi. But damn, if it ain't a compelling manga to read. I want to talk about writing a shonen using any competitive field. Akane Banashi goes pretty hard. I bought Inscription yesterday. Has anyone tried it? If so, what do you think about it? I love Inscription. I played that on stream a couple years ago. Inscription goes hard. I killed the moon with D's. It's kind of a spoiler, but you'll have no idea what the context is. You killed the moon? I sure did. With D's. Just like Piccolo. Can you guys believe that Piccolo just destroyed the moon in Dragon Ball before Frieza ever destroyed a planet? Come on. Piccolo got shafted in Dragon Ball, man. He used to be the toughest out there. He used to be the strongest and the coolest. He still is the coolest. But damn, that orange Piccolo power-up whatever is some nonsense. Could Mac beat Goku? Oh, my hair sticks out at the same volume that his does, so if that's any indication of my power. It's crazy that I still have only gone through like less than half of the stuff in my room. You better work. You better get to work. Chop, chop. Beast Gohan is so nonsense too. They just pull the shit out of nowhere and just go on like he had hidden potential. It's so dumb. It's so dumb because it's like the whole like Gohan being the strongest, the toughest, and like having all this potential but just not utilizing it. Like it exists and it's fine and it's been well built up and it makes sense. But then they're like, oh, new power up because power ups are a thing that Dragon Ball does, and it's like, okay, this has no basis in anything else in the universe. It's not Super Saiyan. It's some fucking superhuman thing. What is it? What is it? I don't know. They made his hair really big so he would look like Teen Gohan so they could recreate the Teen Gohan moment without any of the fucking impact. It's even against Cell and everything. What? God, it was stupid. All I know about Dragon Ball is that they kiss each other on the mouth a lot, judging by the art I see. Yeah, that's right. That's true. For some godforsaken reason, Goku has never kissed his wife. Maybe that kid ain't even his. I think you could argue that like Dragon Ball like okay, I like Dragon Ball, like when Goku was a kid. I like Dragon Ball. I think it's fun. It's amusing. Dragon Ball Z is where I start to lose interest. There's things about it that I like, but it's just not really my kind of thing. Dragon Ball Super is fucking stupid. Let's just be real about it. Dragon Ball Super is so fucking stupid. The writing is nonsense. The villains are not intimidating or engaging, and they just pull out power-ups constantly. Every arc has to have a new power-up. It's so fucking dumb. Dragon Ball Super sucks ass. So he maintains his power. His power is his celibacy. It's his virginity power, man. DBZ up until Cell Saga was solid for me. I still like Cell Saga to an extent. It's obviously not perfect, but I still like it to an extent. But like, man, Super sucks. The Broly movie is awesome. I have not watched Broly yet. I really wish they passed the torch in Cell Saga so bad. We all do. We all do. Cell's the best villain in my opinion. Cell is the best villain in Dragon Ball Abridged. I don't know if I would agree with that with actual canon Dragon Ball. I think Frieza's probably stronger in canon Dragon Ball, but in Dragon Ball Abridged, he's definitely the strongest villain. How about Dragon Ball GT? I actually know literally nothing about Dragon Ball GT. I've never watched it. I've never watched like a recap of it. I know absolutely nothing about it. I just know people don't like it, and that Goku was a kid in it, and that Super Saiyan 4 exists, and it looks really stupid, but people tell me it's cool. Like narratively, they tell me it's pretty cool, but like it looks really dumb. Like it's just like a kind of a bad design, if you ask me. I feel like Abridged handled Frieza better than they did Cell. I mean, I think they handled them both really well. I just like Cell more. He's funny, and I will. What's the line? He is hilarious, and I will repeat everything he says. Best villain is Android 18 because she's the baddest bitch and no other reason. I swear. Now imagine being so old you had to watch the Cell Saga episode, one episode every day, episode per day because it was on the school every morning. That was when I dropped DBZ. Man, a true story. When I was a kid, I don't remember how old I was. I couldn't have been older than like 8. Dragon Ball was airing the Cell Saga. There's this scene when Cell first gets introduced, when Piccolo goes to like the town and it's like littered with all the clothes and from all the people that Cell sucked up. And then Cell shows up and he has like that guy and he like sucks up the guy. He's like a bald businessman dude, and like he sticks his little tail into the guy, and then the guy like slowly gets absorbed and he turns all wrinkly, and then like he gets absorbed and he's just closed then he just like his body disappears. That scared the fucking shit out of me when I was a kid, and I didn't watch Dragon Ball for years afterwards. It genuinely scared me so much. I was so afraid of Cell. I was like, that's fucking terrifying. That dude got sucked up. That dude got dehydrated. That dude turned into dried fruit. That scared the shit out of me, genuinely. I didn't watch Dragon Ball for years afterwards. Cell sucks off, guys. Back during grade school, kids would roleplay anime, and because I was very boyish, I was often asked by my friends to play Tuxedo Mask for their roleplay, but I knew nothing which was lore accurate. It's okay. Tuxedo Mask, I don't actually know anything about it. Sailor Moon. I was gonna make a joke, but it would be based on offhand understandings of Sailor Moon. He had a great opening for sure. Set the mood quick. Yeah, set him up as fucking scary. I liked how they made Cell's imperfect form in Abridged both simultaneously very creepy and also just hilarious. Like they had his moments where they were able to make him very intimidating, but he was also just kind of a gremlin. I like that a lot. I'm mesmerized with the copyright protection boys. Yeah, you gotta pay attention to the road, otherwise you'll swerve off. Oh no! It's okay. I'll handle the truck driving. You handle the watching the boys dance. Are you playing with the wheel? I sure am. Got one right down here. You can't see it because it's off camera, but I bought a racing wheel so I could play American Truck Sim. I don't use it for any of the racing games I play. I like racing games. I play Forza Horizon. I've played the Hot Wheels game, the Never Forget Anything game of Hot Wheels Unleashed. Is that it? I like racing games. Don't use the racing wheel for it. Use the racing wheel for American Truck Sim. What I saw of DBC was just everyone scaling up to the next level, overpowered in the sense of scale, removed any sort of narrative stake except ego. Oh, that's absolutely the problem with it. It's impossible to create the next engaging villain when the main character is like canonically the strongest in the universe. So they have to find a way to make a new strongest in the universe every single time. Dragon Ball Super had those whole stupid thing where they were like, oh, the tournament universe. There's a guy from outside the universe who's stronger than Goku, because he's not part of this universe. And then the next arc, they're like, there's this guy who was locked up forever, and he comes into the universe, and it turns out he's actually the strongest after he gets his youth back. And then they do the next arc, and it's like, this guy wished on the Dragon Balls to be the strongest, so now he's the strongest in the universe. And then Frieza shows up again, and they're like, oh, Frieza was outside of the universe for a little bit, so it didn't identify him as the strongest because he wasn't around. Like, they have to constantly establish the new strongest in the universe, and it just has no impact at that point. You have to have that power ceiling, otherwise it doesn't mean anything. Have you tried Star Trucker? I have. I want to play more Star Trucker. I've only streamed it once so far, but it's really fun. I like it a lot. What do you use to move your camo when you're using the wheel? It was the biggest stop for me using my wheel. I just have my mouse right next to me. I just pull over. I just grab my mouse whenever I need to turn the camera. It is kind of annoying, but I can live with it. It's ironic that anime would struggle from the same power creep that the competitive games do. It's kind of like MMOs. Like, you have to constantly establish that whatever the player has done in an MMO before the most recent expansion was not actually... There's somehow a more intimidating threat after that. Which is how you end up with Sylvanas as a character. How do you beat the Lich King in terms of power and intimidation? Cheat. Sylvanas could have been good. Well, she wasn't. Did you check out Yoru Gyat in the latest Chainsaw Man? No, I was too distracted trying to read the story. Truly, Starfield's greatest sin was denying me the ability to RP as a space trucker. I've been saying for years, like, the main thing I have a problem with when it comes to space games is they're always focused on, like, combat. They're always like, oh, you get to become, like, a fighter pilot in Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous and No Man's Sky and Starfield. And I'm like, man, I just want to haul freight across the universe. And I feel like I willed Star Trucker into existence by wishing for that. Mac, do you like Vegeta's character arc, though? I think it's good in theory, but somewhat poorly executed. But ultimately, yes, I do. Up until like the end of the Boo arc, I think it's very solid. After the Boo arc, I feel like there's a real problem with like just relegating Vegeta to the role of like Goku's sidekick, basically. Like Vegeta's own ambition, Vegeta's own passion kind of disappear after that point, and he just becomes like, oh, every fight is a tag team fight between Goku and Vegeta, and they work together and they're partners, which is fine, but it kind of makes Vegeta into a bit of a boring character. One of my early and only memories of my father was him telling me he liked Vegeta. My father didn't watch the anime; he only saw it while my siblings or I was watching. That was enough for him. We love an angry short king. So anyway, the whole like power creep thing is a big part of why I like One Piece, and I'm sure some people will disagree with it because there is issues with it. It's not perfect, but I think One Piece does a really good job of establishing like this is a strong character. This strong character is way out of Luffy's league. There's no way he can beat this character. He's too weak for that until right now because Luffy's reaching like the pinnacle of the universe, right? But you know, like Mihawk in chapter 50. You introduce Mihawk in chapter 50 as the strongest swordsman, and to this day, he's still the strongest. Like, that's a really well-established ceiling, where it's like, we've established a strong character, and he stays strong. That was a big problem I had with Black Clover, where they would constantly introduce these characters that are like, this is incomprehensibly strong. There's no way they can beat this. And then they beat it. And it's like, okay, where the fuck do you go from there? And clearly the author struggles with it, too, because they have to keep inventing systems to make people stronger. One Piece doesn't really have that problem. It's like, you know, you see all these characters during the Paramount War who are super strong. You see Doflamingo and he's super strong. And he's still super strong until he gets beaten. Is that the guy that beat Zoro with, like, just a penknife? Yeah, that's him. And, like, obviously the introduction of Haki kind of threw a wrench into things where Haki should have been more properly introduced during the Paramount War, because now we look at what Haki can do, and we have to question why people weren't doing it during the Paramount War when like all the strongest people in the verse were gathered. You know, Haki kind of threw a wrench into things, and One Piece has struggled with it as it's gotten towards the end of it, as it's getting towards the end. It has, but it has still managed to do a good job of saying like this character is strong, and they're going to stay strong because they've been established as strong. You don't have to introduce new characters to show how powerful someone is. You don't have to introduce new systems to show how powerful someone is. This character that was introduced as strong at the beginning is still strong at the end. With long-running stories like Berserk and One Piece, do you think they can ever end satisfyingly, or that they've been running so long that just won't be satisfied? You know, I mean, ultimately, it's a matter of opinion, right? Like, I don't think the fandom will ever be satisfied by the ending of a long-running series, because the fandom generates their own headcanon about how the series should end. But you personally, as a reader, can be satisfied by it. I've been saying for years, I have a lot of faith in Oda to end One Piece well, because he does a really good job of paying things off. He does a good job of like setting things up and paying them off. So I think the ending of One Piece will be very good, because I think he's done a very good job of setting up what could be a very good ending. Do I think that there will be a ton of discourse about the ending when it ends? Yeah. Yeah, there will. I'm sure there's going to be people saying that it's the worst ending in anime history. But I think I'm going to like it. One Piece does a lot right. I haven't gotten to Super Saiyan and God Luffy yet, but I'm aware of it and hopeful it'll be handled well. I ultimately do think it's handled very well. And again, people are going to disagree with that. There's a lot of opinions about One Piece out there, but I do think it's handled very well. The main issue I have with One Piece in terms of like power and whatever is just simply how Haki is handled. And I won't go into particulars because I don't want to offer spoilers. It's just a matter of like, there are systems that get introduced that should have been introduced later, that should have been shown later. And it's very clearly a problem of like, Oda trying to figure out how he makes people appear stronger, just like any other one of these series. But I don't think it's as detrimental to One Piece as it is to a lot of other series, is the thing I end up feeling. Is Luffy the birth devil? The Chainsaw Devil is not the Chainsaw Devil is such a fun theory for people to exposit as fact. Exposit might not have been the right word to use there, but whatever. I'm trucking right now. I can't focus on my word usage. I think people are looking at it wrong with the Chainsaw Man thing. I don't think it's that that Pochita isn't the Chainsaw Devil. I just think that the Chainsaw Devil has a different place in the world than what people think. Basically, the whole idea that like chainsaws were originally designed for childbirth, and that's going to play a part in it, kind of deal. I don't think I'm going to be able to park here like this. I'm too far outside the zone. Ah, nope, we're good. Lit. I'm writing a book right now, and I'm using a weirder magic system that focuses on the artifacts in the world holding the magic and different people having the ability to access specific artifacts. Doing that, it makes it hard for me to figure out how to slowly build up those stakes and move the story forward. Well, it's definitely something you need to think about, because if you don't do it, it really hurts the impact of story events. Probably end it with an adventure the adventure continues kind of thing. I personally feel that when One Piece ends, I don't know what the One Piece will be. I have my theories about, like, obvious physically I don't know what it'll be. I have my theory about like what it'll represent, but I don't know what it'll be. But in terms of the ending for One Piece, I think it is very, very clear that the ending to One Piece will be the Straw Hats continuing to go on another adventure. The entire story has been shown with just Luffy being like, I like adventuring. That's what I like doing. I want freedom. I want the ability to adventure freely. The Grand Line has 6 other paths that they could have gone down. There's 4 other seas they could explore. It feels very clear to me that the ending of One Piece will be the Straw Hats going on another adventure. Chainsaws were originally designed for childbirth. What? Yeah, you haven't heard this before? It's been a big theory in the One Piece community. Chainsaws childbirth. In 1785, Scottish doctors and obstetrician John Aitken and James Jeffrey improved on this symphysiotomy method using a tool that later became known as Aitken's flexible chainsaw. The cutting device was specifically designed to make removing the woman's pelvic bone easier and less time-consuming during childbirth. It was designed for C-sections, essentially. This was the original chainsaw. And yes, it was designed for childbirth. Sorry, that was a lot of big words that I don't know. I probably sounded really dumb just now. One Piece will end with the One Piece being a spaceship and they have to find the two-piece on another planet. I mean, aliens canonically exist in the One Piece universe. Enel is on the moon. I'm just saying. I was being facetious and you're telling me I was right. No, you're right. It was a tool used for C-sections in childbirth. Wait, no, I was joking. There is a character, his name is Enel, and it's not shown in the anime, but in the manga, there are cover stories showing that after he was defeated by Luffy, he took his big flying ship and flew it to the moon, where he discovered aliens and robots living on the moon, and he took over the moon. That is a canon piece of One Piece lore. That one of Luffy's antagonists is living on the moon now with an army of robots. I want to replay Cyberpunk 2077 a third time. I'm trying to find somewhere I can get gas and rest, but there's not a lot of options. It looks like here. Ideally, I'd find somewhere to repair my truck too, but maybe we can stop here first, get a repair, and then get rest and gas. Gas. That's how you say his name. I pronounce it wrong. Admittedly, his name is Enidu. That's like the Japanese way to pronounce it. But when I was reading it, I was like 15, and the way the translator spelled it was E-N-E-L, so I read it as Enel. And I still to this day think of it as Enel, and I haven't been able to break myself from thinking of it that way, but it's technically pronounced Enidu. Stop making things up, Mac. Enel landing on the moon is just a conspiracy. It's real! It's real! It's real! I'm pulling up the cover page. I'm pulling it up. Where's the shot of him flying to the moon? I need it. There it is. There it is. There's Enel's ship. What did he call it? I forget what he called it. Arc Maximus? That's his ship flying to the moon. Here he is looking at ancient shit on the moon. Here he is with an army of robots on the moon. It's real. Here he is getting stabbed by an alien on the moon. Enel lives on the moon now. Don't ask me why he doesn't need a spacesuit. I don't know. Maybe it's because he's a Logia. When I read it, I thought it was pronounced NL. Is that the guy from the first part of the anime who was some sort of lightning god? Yes, it is. He's the guy that Luffy could defeat because Luffy's made of rubber and he didn't know hockey. Well, I mean, he did. He had observation hockey, but he didn't have the kind of hockey he needed. I can't wait to play. I want to play Space Marine 2 as well. I also want to play Persona 3 The Answer. I want to play Final Fantasy 16. What else has come out that I want to play? A lot of games. There's a lot of games that come out that I want to play. One Piece seems to bring back characters a lot. Yeah, so it's mostly a good thing. It is sometimes a bad thing. There's cases of characters not dying when they really probably should have. There's cases where characters have not died and it really weakens the impact of the scene where they were supposed to have died. But for the most part, I consider it a good thing. It's a good part of the world building where Oda consistently shows that, like, these characters don't stop existing because Luffy defeated them or whatever, like, or these characters don't stop existing when Luffy isn't around. Like, they have their own stories and their own things that they're doing, and they return. They return eventually in the story, and it shows like, oh, there's things going on outside of what I'm seeing. So it's mostly a good thing. Want a co-op buddy for Space Marine 2, lol? Yes, I do. Whenever I get around to playing it, which I don't know when that will be, but yeah, that'd be great. I was also thinking, Bill, like when Wayfinder releases into 1.0, we should play that co-op. At least a little bit. You'll probably play it way more than I will. I made a lot of progress on packing and cleaning. Pog! Epic! Anyway, yeah. Anime fans, you gotta find out about that Enel on the moon lore. One day you'll understand about Enel on the moon. Since Luffy gets increasingly more powerful as well, would you say that the antagonist gets stronger alongside him? It's not so much an alongside him thing, so much as there are well-established powerful characters in the verse that Luffy eventually goes up against, right? Like the concept of the four emperors in One Piece was established very early in the story. Very early in the story. And it wasn't until very recently, comparatively to the length of One Piece, that Luffy finally started fighting emperors. So Luffy has gotten stronger. I wouldn't say alongside antagonists. There are some other characters in the story who have gotten stronger alongside Luffy, but not necessarily antagonists. I'm gonna go bed here soon. Have a good rest of the stream, brother. Appreciate you, Kyler. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Everybody follow twitch.tv/Ancient Relic. Hell yeah, brother. Let's go. I'm actually really excited to play Wayfinder, but I'm waiting for it to launch into 1.0. I'm really interested in it. One Piece doesn't have level scaling. It's not a Bethesda game. Remember that Buggy is still a wimp. Hey! Enough of that Buggy slander. I miss Space Marine 2 talk, but I'll be down to be a third. Yeah, whenever I get around to playing it, I'd be super up for that. I don't know how Space Marine 2 handles like co-op. If it's one of those things where everyone's at the same level, or if I'll be woefully underleveled, but I'll be down for that. It would be strange if Luffy can get stronger, but antagonists cannot. Well, okay, so that's not exactly what I mean by that. Like I said, there are characters who do get stronger, but there are also characters who are just strong at the beginning and strong at the end, kind of deal. What I mean is like the antagonists that Luffy fights get stronger, but it's not like they're getting stronger alongside Luffy the way you phrased it. It's just that like they are strong and Luffy has gotten up to their level. It's actually kind of a plot point in the story about how Luffy is like climbing the ranks while other characters are kind of just sitting on their laurels, and Luffy kind of catches up with them. But there are other characters who do get stronger alongside Luffy. They're just not necessarily antagonists. Space Marine 2 campaign is very set, but the PvE game mode is also rewarding. What is with all the red light violations? The light is green when I turn. That means I can turn. That's fair. I just imagine that it would be gradual, since I wouldn't imagine the strongest would stagnate, since you don't get to be the strongest by not working hard to become the strongest. Well, at the same time, it's kind of like, so like I said, chapter 50, the world's strongest swordsman gets introduced. His name is Mihawk. He's the world's strongest swordsman. There aren't a lot of people that can challenge him to make him grow stronger. He might get like slightly stronger through the virtue of fighting strong people who want to challenge him. But if there's no one that's stronger than him, he doesn't have like a lot of experience to gain, so to speak. Is it counting the red light you turn into? I think so. I think it's like, oh, the light turned red, so you lose. And like I said, it's kind of a plot point. Like, you know, the four emperors are like the strongest pirates on the sea. It's kind of a plot point that they've been like sitting on their laurels, not really trying to like claim the One Piece, not trying to like advance their position, not trying to get stronger, and these young upstarts come and catch up with them. It's kind of like the analogy. I stopped watching One Piece a long time ago, but wasn't second gear for Luffy dangerous to his health? It was implied that it was, but that implication was coming from someone who, you know, didn't necessarily understand the extent of his power, I would say. It's exhausting for him early on when he first starts doing it, but he, you know, eventually overcomes that and acclimates to it. I imagine the higher you rank can get in terms of rank, it takes much more time and effort to truly spike and grow to less competition. Yeah, so I was going to bring up, like, My Hero Academia of all stories has a really good analogy for it. You wouldn't expect someone who's at level 50 to grow at the same rate as someone who's at level 1. Like, there comes a point when you get so strong that it gets hard to get stronger. I like that One Piece has a pseudo power scale in its bounties. It doesn't measure power directly, just how disruptive the pirate has been. It usually just takes a lot of power to be very disruptive. Yeah, the thing I like about the bounties is that they can be used as a way to like indicate how powerful someone is, but Oda also constantly showcases how you can't use it as a power system. He constantly showcases how like this person who has a really high bounty isn't necessarily stronger than this other character, whatever. Or, you know, the classic example of Buggy having like a super high bounty but ultimately being very weak. It also serves a thematic point as the strongest usually are rigid in maintaining the status quo compared to Luffy and crew's free spirit and demanding better. Usually due to selfish reasons they remain stuck. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's kind of like these emperors of the seas, these warlords, whatever, like they're content with their place in the world, whereas Luffy is pushing and trying to take a place in the world. If they get the bounty, then won't the economy just flash? Won't the economy just instantly crash from hyperinflation? It's actually one of the biggest, I would say one of the worst aspects of One Piece lore is the whole like there are bounties in the world, but so far in the universe there has been like 3 bounty hunters and none of them are very strong. Like Zoro used to be a bounty hunter, but he isn't anymore. Johnny and Yusuke like Yusaku. Johnny and Yusaku like retired after Arlong Park. There's a guy with a cactus head in Dressrosa who's a bounty hunter. He gets fucking clapped instantly. Like there are no bounty hunters in One Piece. You never see them. They exist in lore, but you never see them. It's one of the things that I would say is like a pretty genuine knock against the writing. Like the concept of bounties exists in the universe, but the concept of bounty hunters is not fleshed out. All right, we're gonna kind of wind down here, I think. Arkansas, a good new state. Very, very small state. It makes sense that they got it out so fast. Normally the cadence has been like a new state every like 6 months. This one came out like 4 months after the last state. So now that we're getting more towards the east with smaller states, I think we'll see more state releases and probably more truck streams, if I were to guess. Bounty hunting in the world is basically asking to die. I wish there was just one character who was a really strong bounty hunter who could be like a recurring villain or a recurring antagonist, not necessarily a villain, just antagonist in the verse. Smoker could have fulfilled that role. I don't necessarily think Smoker needed to be a Marine. He like serves a good role as a Marine, but we already had like a strong Marine character in Kobe. I think Smoker could have maybe worked better as a bounty hunter. I guess it's mainly to incentivize other pirates, but yeah, there's so much money made, you'd think there'd be more. But that's the thing, pirates can't collect bounties because they have a bounty on their head themselves. How'd everyone feel about the live action One Piece? I loved it. I had a good time with it. I'm looking forward to season 2. It wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed it enough. It was fun. Oh, KG would have been a cool bounty hunter. I think he would have been a cool bounty hunter, but like Oda's really cooking with his role in the story. So I think he works better as like a Marine at first. But definitely like I wish we could have gotten like at least a couple solid bounty hunters characters. I mean, shit. Even one of the worst generation could have worked as a bounty hunter, even if they weren't like a part of it. You know, like the worst generation are kind of like Luffy's direct rivals, and you know, I think it would have worked to have one of them. They wouldn't necessarily be a part of the worst generation because the worst generation specifically refers to pirates, but like someone who's on par with them at the time that they're introduced, like that. Like a bounty hunter could have been introduced during Shiboni Archipelago, and then made it through the time skip and been a character who eventually shows up again, whatever. The problem with reoccurring villains is that they might end up like Team Rocket. See, Oda does a really good job of paying it off, though. Like Doflamingo gets introduced during Skypiea at Jaya, and he's like super intimidating. You see him again at the Paramount War. Again, he's super intimidating. He becomes like the main villain of a major like arc of the story at the beginning of the time skip, and like seeing him get defeated is like really compelling. They don't necessarily need to be a recurring antagonist that fights with Luffy. They could just be a recurring antagonist who eventually fights with Luffy, but you see like their journey of like becoming stronger throughout the story. Like how you could introduce like a worst generation character and then have them be defeated by said bounty hunter. Like they wouldn't necessarily have to clash heads with Luffy directly to show how they've gotten stronger. Law's mad cool, but maybe could have fit with him being a doctor too, but I might be remembering that wrong. I don't think Law would have worked with the bounty hunter because worked as a bounty hunter because his story is too tied to Doflamingo. I feel like he has to be a pirate. Anyway, appreciate you hanging out, everybody. And remember, Starfield Part 3 comes out tomorrow. So you better watch it. You better give it a like. You better leave a comment on it. You can leave like 5 comments on it. You can give your thoughts at various parts of the video if you want. You know? I'm not trying to farm engagement. I just want to hear what you think. So watch Part 3. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys... Not on Saturday, actually, because I'm busy. I'll stream on Friday instead to make up for it. I'll see you guys on Friday. I don't know what I'll be playing. I might play Dredge. I might also play Dragon's Dogma 2. So we'll see what happens. Part 3, yay, I subbed because of those videos. Thank you, Bridget. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed Part 3. I'm confident you will read our comments on Part 3. I sure will. I actually do read a ton of comments. I don't reply to a ton of them because there's just too many, but I do read a ton of comments. Talk about balls. Appreciate you, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. I'll talk to you later, and good night.